Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. If I were a responsible professional streamer and a normal person, I would be sitting here having just rolled out of bed. Maybe I had to set the alarm or something. Made a cup of coffee. Had a quick breakfast. Some fruit, for example, bowl of oatmeal. Something like that. If I were a normal person and a professional streamer. But I am not a normal person and I am not a professional streamer. So my prep for this was staying up all night, doing my taxes, and then going over to the gas station, buying a Celsius, the caffeine boost, and a couple of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. And that is how I prep for a very exciting day of Osiris League action. Are we able to get into these yet? Let's see. Not yet. We're planning to watch Lost against RYF. Okay, so I can't watch it yet, but it will be open to spectators. We played Lost last week. They beat us by about a 2-1 score. They were just much stronger than us in the middle, especially, and a little bit more organized than we were. And I thought they played quite well. And what I've heard is that RYF is not a great Ark of Osiris team. So I thought this would be a pretty interesting match, actually. The power's a little bit different between these two teams. I think both these teams just entered KVK. I think RYF might have just sort of done their first zone in Siege of Orleans. But I don't know if they did any actual fighting. So we're going to watch RYF and Lost. And if that game's not any good, then we will... there's a couple other really good matches as well. 1158 is playing 93L. And let me actually find that one. Let me go through here and find that one. And then also 1718 is playing 166. And 166 is in our KVK. So I kind of wanted to see how they do in Ark, just to kind of get a feel for how they play. They are our opponents in KVK, so I just kind of want to get a feel for where they're at. So we might watch that if Lost versus RYF isn't close. But I'm feeling pretty good about RYF versus Lost. And I'm just looking through for the 1158 match, just so I know what division it's in, so I can switch to it quickly. As I anticipate more people will join the stream as we go along. I think I even forgot to... I didn't link this anywhere yet. So alright, here we go. So this is Division 21. Okay, let me go ahead and link this stream in a couple of Discords. See if we get a few more people on here. Thank you all for hanging out. Throw a like on the stream. Hopefully the stream quality is okay. I have not upgraded my internet yet, so it's not, the internet quality is not where it should be. But I'm planning to upgrade it in the next couple weeks because we do have a pretty big KVK coming up. And I might want to live stream some stuff from that. And it would suck to have like really crappy internet connection, and then maybe get maybe get like restreamed by Chisel or something like that. Suddenly have like 500 viewers and have really crappy a really crappy stream quality. That would be a pretty big missed opportunity. So I'm gonna upgrade the internet. Sorry, I have not done that yet. And I probably need to upgrade the mic too, because my microphone is not that great. If I talk right into it loudly, it picks up the microphone well, but if I dip off with my volume at all, I am barely able to be heard. So, some upgrades to come for the stream, but, the person is here. The stream quality may not be here. The microphone may be a little scuffed, but I am still Brian Kuh. I have still played this game for 5 years. I have still been leading Arc of Osiris teams for 5+ years with quite a bit of success. And so we are going to watch some very good Arc matches today. The winners will advance into the, the final bracket where we get to bet on them. And the losers will be all done. Thank you for the envoy. We will definitely be getting some messages scrolling across the screen during these matches, because we do have the training buff on in our kingdom, and we are on Eve of the Crusade. So people are definitely going to be training. We'll talk a bit more about the KVK in the intermission between the 13 UTC matches and the 15 UTC matches, because I will have some time to kill. But yeah, we're going against the very well-known kingdom of 2268, which is where Chiskel's group is, as well as Plato's group. So a lot of content creators, and only farmers also in this kingdom. So a lot of content creators in 2268, and they are our opponents in this KVK. But we are allied with 1824, 3125, 1900. We're definitely winning the Eve of the Crusade activity game here. But yeah, that should be like a very good KVK, actually. I think it's going to be quite close and quite interesting in the sense that it's going to be many kingdoms fighting against. It's going to be many kingdoms fighting against one very big, super well-known Imperium kingdom with literally the biggest whales in the game. And so it'll be this question of how can multiple kingdoms of much smaller players effectively fight against a kingdom full of whales? And this will be a good test, because certainly the game has become more whale friendly over the last 6 months with armaments and the whole awakening system. So we'll see what's better, what's more important, quality or quantity, because we are going to have quantity against them, but they are going to have the quality, and it'll be an interesting fight. It'll be sort of an interesting test. And for our kingdom, 1770, which we are a kingdom with 4 stars, and a kingdom that's been pretty darn successful over the years. We have never fought against a big Imperium before. We have never been in a high-profile KVK before. So it'll be interesting to see how we compare to those groups. They're obviously going to be stronger than us, but the thing that's interesting is always to see how coordinated these big groups are, how much whim they have, how much want it more attitude they have, how much 24/7 coverage they have, how many leaders they have pushing the action. All those things are very important to observe in different kingdoms, and we've never been able to observe it with Imperiums before. And so this will be our first opportunity to do that. And yeah, looks like the chat's pretty quiet so far, but that's all good. Be sure to throw a like on the stream. I would appreciate that. Looks like, let's see. Other people are streaming matches as well. I'm kind of curious what other people are streaming. Oh, Bulba's streaming as well. What is he streaming? Okay, Bulba's streaming 158 against 93. So we're streaming different matches. That's cool. So yeah, everybody's getting psyched for Osiris League. I mean, this is like, for some of us, this is, a very, very fun part of this this game, right? Arc is really cool, and Osiris League, over the years, traditionally, has been it's just been a very fun event. Like, there's been lots of great matches. The content has been good. It's great for streamers. It's a way for people to hang out. It's a way for people to get together on a stream and talk about some pretty high level stuff in Rise of Kingdoms. Because, when you're streaming KVK, you're kind of focused on so if you're actually in the KVK, you're focused on the fighting. And if you're spectating the KVK, you never have all the information. You don't get to see the battle reports, and you don't just get like a clear picture of what's happening. But I think in Ark of Osiris, you do get a pretty clear picture of what's going on. And so it's just a chance to talk about our Rise of Kingdoms on kind of a high level. Only Farmer, welcome to the stream. Skeleton Family, welcome to the stream. Natsu, what's up, buddy? So yeah, we're just locking in here for Lost against RYF. I believe RYF is a Korean kingdom. Their name looks very Korean. Yeah, they're Korean. I've been around the block enough to know that these are Korean characters, not Chinese characters or Japanese characters. These are definitely Korean names. So yeah, RYF is a pretty beefy 4 billion power Korean alliance, while Lost is a German and international alliance, mostly English speaking. I believe they have one side for them is German, and the other side is the international side. I think we'll probably see the German side go to the bottom of the map, and the international side go to the top of the map. That's at least what they did against us. It would be interesting to see if they swap sides. There are certainly some people who feel like, this side of the map is more important, the side where you're A, defending the Shrine of War, and B, you have your altar on the outside lane, which is a little bit harder to defend. There's certainly some people who would say, like, let's put our good team on this side, because this is the more important side to defend. But then there's other teams like us, where I just say, like, let's keep it simple and always put the same group on the bottom and always put the same group on the top. Yes, Only Farmer. We are going at it this KVK. Very much looking forward to it. I think it will be a very good KVK. And actually, just earlier tonight, listened to some of the podcasts you did with Plato, and I think Plato said he just hopes it's like a friendly, non-toxic KVK. And I certainly agree with that. I'm a little bit arrogant, and so some people take that as toxicity. But yeah, I hope we have like a real friendly, good KVK. And I think it will be. Okay, so they actually did switch sides. This is kind of interesting. So the German team is going to the top here. And Sinith... So this is like pretty important to note, right? Sinith has a very large tier 1 March here. And this is a pretty good thing for a arc leader to have, because it's always possible to cause like major problems with this type of march. You see he's getting out pretty quickly, right? So like this guy's much smaller. He's got 140k tier 1, which is decent. But a march like this can always cause like major freaking problems if your fast cavalry rally does not get somewhere in time. And I'm going to be honest, these look kind of slow. It looks like these rallies are pretty slow. And it's actually not even a cavalry rally, right? They're sending an infantry rally to their own obelisk. And that means that Sinith is very likely going to get here before the rally does. He's not on a straight line to it, which is probably a mistake. If he knew how slow this rally was getting to this obelisk, he would be on a straight line to this thing. So this is kind of a miss here, actually. Like, I wonder why he's going over here, right? Like, he could have messed this up. He actually could have murked this. Now he's on his way. This guy is 27 seconds away. He's 21. He's probably not going to be able to kill this march in time. But, like, look, like, why is his route? His route just seems, like, suboptimal here, right? Yeah, you can see how this kind of a march could have really messed up this obelisk. But the XY got there in time, I think. Actually, you know what's going to happen is this rally, the Lost rally is going to get to this obelisk ahead of time. Knights, what's up? Welcome to the stream. And it looks like Lost is going to score a very big victory here and probably take this obelisk, maybe? It's hard to say. We have a lot of lag, unfortunately. Okay, so the XY saved him. The XY saved him here. Most likely. It does take too long for a full rally to kill a 310k XY march. But this is the other thing that Lost does very good. They're very fast to this desert altar. They're very, very fast in heavy numbers to the desert altar. They caused the same problems to us last week. And, you know, this is just some advice for teams in Arc in general. The thing you want to do here, if you are on the back foot, if you are the defending team and you lack numbers here, I think the main thing you want to do is you want to just like clear as much of the enemy as you can and then teleport, and then your second wave plus the rally should be able to disrupt the first capture bonus, right? It's not ideal, but you should be able to disrupt the first capture bonus. And that's kind of what we did to Lost last time. I think what's going to happen is Lost is going to send a lot of these marches middle. That's at least what they did versus us. They kind of like gave up the first capture bonus to get to mid early. We'll see what happens here. Six, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, Six. It's been a while, buddy. Things are going pretty well. Knight says, not going to lie, prior to playing on OL, I should have played multiple ARC matches with y'all. I got culture shock on the first match. Yeah, the first match was a good one, Knight, you know. You did well. You did pretty good, actually. I thought you played pretty good, Knight, so no big deal. Knight, I didn't realize that you have now fully smuggled your way into our kingdom. I sort of see how it was done. You just got one of the accounts, and yeah. So here's the situation, right? If Lost stays here, see, I would stay. Like, I think against us, Lost made a mistake and didn't just stay here, and they sent a bunch of these marches middle. But I think they're staying this time, and I think they're going to get the first capture. Because the thing is, like, all these low health marches, they need to die anyway. Like, you kind of want these marches to die before they go middle. And so let's see here. So this is a pretty aggro ward by RYF. And so Lost is getting to middle first. And if they just place a very basic ward at the temple, which I would do since you're getting here first, they're going to sniff out this ward, and then RYF will have no vision mid. RYF does get this Shrine of Life. probably not going to hold it. I assume a rally is coming here. But, you know, a pretty decent, like a pretty respectable start for RYF, I guess. They are going to lose this Desert Altar first capture. Lost definitely learned from us, and they stayed, you know, against us, they went mid, and they did not get the first capture. They definitely changed it up here, and they stayed at this Desert Altar, and they're going to get that first capture. And now you see the ward here, and they're going to kill this ward. So, now, this is interesting, right? The not having vision, RYF not having vision is kind of a big deal. I mean, they have vision for now, and they know they have the numbers mid. Like, RYF knows they have the numbers mid, and so they should just go full in and take this temple. Why are they not killing the ward? That's crazy. You got to kill this ward. But yeah, so RYF has had very good mobilization from this bottom side. And they need to just go right in. They need to take this temple right now. They have a huge numbers advantage. And so you see that Lost was aggro. They're just trying to die so they can get to mid. It's kind of an awkward... Yeah, this is pretty awkward for Lost here. They're probably not going to get the first capture. And these RYF marches are fresh, and so they are going to get to mid before Lost does. So a pretty even... I don't know, pretty even start, I would say. Pretty even start. And it's really going to come down to mid. I mean, I think that Ark of Osiris at this point is really a... it's a mid game. Because the meta seems to be playing a lot of defense on the side. I see a lot of teams playing a lot of defense on the sides. And then it just comes down to who has the better mid game. You know, who has the stronger open field to win mid. And I think that's going to be the meta in this Osiris League. You know, Gorgo is a strong enough Ark garrison that defense is very viable. You know, Gorgo is a definite upgrade to Ark garrisons. You could go Gorgo Hera, or you against Swarms, or you can go Gorgo Constantine against just rallies. And Gorgo makes the sides more of a defensive thing. Although they're actually using Yan here, which is interesting. Oh my gosh. RYF has them so outnumbered. This is like so bold. This is extremely bold by Lost to be on their side of the temple, because I think RYF can literally just overrun them right now. I think this is just a straight up overrun that would occur if not for the fact that they didn't have vision. Yeah, so RYF's coming in now, and I think this is going to be a win for RYF. Because it's, I mean, yeah, look how badly RYF has lost outnumbered here. And I think this just came from the awkwardness at the Desert Altar, in all honesty. I think they tried to get the first capture on the Desert Altar. They didn't get it. They lost it with about 40 seconds left. And what ended up happening is they just came to mid very late. They came to mid very late from this side here. You see, like, over here, there's, like, nobody coming mid. Whereas over here on the top side, there's, like, still a bunch of people coming mid. So it's very interesting, right? It's like, Lost's execution at the start of this match, I would say, was better than RYF. Like, they put major pressure on this obelisk. They put major pressure on this Desert Altar. But just the timing was off. The timing was, like, way off. And this is... Ark is really about timing. It's about, like, doing things on the sides at a time when it allows you to get to mid correctly. And that just didn't happen with Lost. They just got to mid late. Not because they played bad, but just because they were trying so hard to win this Desert Altar. And they just came up short. And, you know, the first occupation is worth 750. You just kind of figure if you, like... If you do the first occupation and you disrupt their continuous occupation for a few minutes, you might get like 1,000 points. And that would have heavily neutralized the 3,000 point arc. But they just didn't get it. And yeah, RYF is definitely looking pretty strong here. That was a very, very convincing first mid fight. And it'll be interesting to see what they can do with all of this, open field here. Yeah, RYF definitely looking like the stronger team at this point. They did have a huge numbers advantage here, though. You know what? The biggest issue for Lost there was that they were just like too aggro. Their positioning was way too aggro at the temple. They should have gathered up down here just because they knew they were gathering, slower than the enemy was. Natsu says trying to get all objectives in Olympia before KVK fighting happens. Yeah, I might play a few Olympia matches after this. I think it might be ranked, so if anybody wants to join in for some ranked play, we could maybe do a couple of Olympia matches in between these two situations, these two Osiris League matches we're going to spectate. Knight says, yeah, Gorg's a pain to knock over. I swarmed one before. If weren't a Korean, I would have been my cheeks clapped. Alrighty. Alright, so I think what we're seeing here, and here's just like another dynamic people should understand about Arc in general, is that if you do lose mid, you do get a temporary bonus to the side. You have a temporary advantage on the side. Because the enemy marches are all middle. You see that RYF had a ton of marches middle, and they're just kind of getting wrecked. Like, they didn't really do anything with their ball here. And so this gives Lost, or any team, the temporary side advantage when you lose mid. And you do need to try to parlay that advantage into something. And it looks like Lost is doing exactly that. Decent pressure here. Good pressure here. And this looks like it's going to be a take against the Hera Garrison. That's interesting. I don't know about that. Hera YSS mixed Garrison, I think, is going to have a lot of trouble in Osiris. I think the Gorgo Hera is better. Full inf. So I think we still have a match on our hands. I think that first arc was clearly dominated by RYF, but they just had more numbers. Like, they had way, way, way more numbers. And right now, Lost is executing pretty well with some side aggression. Decent defense here. Decent defense here. So Lost might not get a ton of value here. They got the Desert Altar. Doesn't look like they're going to get anything else. But it keeps this game very close. The occupation score difference right now keeps the game very close. Worth noting that RYF is harassing these outposts very well. And a thought I'm having just on the spot, actually, is that when you dominate a mid and you have this big ball and you don't really know what to do with it, one really good thing to do would actually be to just like go and swarm these outposts and take all these outposts, which are often lightly defended. And that just seems like a very productive way to use extra marches mid. So that's something I never thought about before, but it makes a lot of sense. A Knight says, this is my third stratagems in a row. I'm not even that excited for KVK anymore, aside from 2268 peeps might rally me. Yeah, I assume that 2268 will be very keen to rally cities. But, you know, buyer beware on that one, because I imagine that 2268 has some rally leads that hit really, really hard. And, you know, city rallies have been a pretty high risk. Taking city rallies has been a pretty high risk thing for a while now, because the rallies do hit quite hard. And if you do it correctly and you get your heals in, then it can be a nice trade for you. But it can also go very, very wrong. So unless you know what you're doing, I would definitely not be taking city rallies in 2268. I'm not one who takes too many city rallies. You know, I don't know. I'm just risk averse in that sort of way. But you never know. I'm going to turn the music down a tiny little bit. Yeah, 6, I'm hanging in there, you know. I'm not necessarily playing ROK as much as I used to, but work's a little bit slow right now, so I do have a lot of time. And yeah, we'll see how this KVK goes as far as my time goes. I don't really want to say too much on stream. All right, so we're kind of rambling here and not paying attention to the fact that the next arc is very soon. You see, the Lost does like to get set up very early. They got set up much earlier for this arc. They're going to have good numbers. I do like setting up early for arc, because here's the thing, right? I assume both of these teams have To the Death. We can't see their skills, but I assume they both have To the Death. And when, especially for the second arc, when you for sure have enough points to use To the Death, and the arc is worth 3,500 points, this is a very nice position to be in, where you're in front of the temple, and you can literally just wait for the enemy to engage on you, immediately cast To the Death. You know you're going to get very good value for that To the Death. And this is just a very good, it's just a very good engage. Like, it's a very, very good engage to be at the temple, have the enemy attack into you, then you attack, you cast To the Death, and that often works out very, very well. So let's look at the ward situation. Here's the aggro ward from blue. I like this. You know, if the enemy is going to get to arc first, then you might as well cast the aggro ward. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like Lost does not have a ward. And also worth noticing that RYF is really pressuring quite well here. It looks like they really have a good take on this Shrine of Life. Looks like there's really no counterattack on this Shrine of Life. And look at all these marches that are distracted by the Desert Altar that can't get to mid on time. And you see all these late RYF marches that are going to get to middle in time for the fight, whereas these guys may not. They may not. Shady might not get to arc in time for the fight. Shady's one of the bigger players on Lost. You definitely want him at mid, but it might not be there in time. Zark's spawning at 2:15. It'll be interesting to see when RYF goes in. RYF using some advanced movement here, kind of going to the side. You know, I'm not advanced enough in ROK strategy to understand why you go to the side here. Like, you're kind of like increasing your surface area, right? You're kind of you're hitting more marches, right? Like, if you just think about like a Zug Herman coming in here, it's hitting more marches than if it was just hitting the point of the ball. So here's the fight. Looks like Shady got here in time. Yeah, so there's To the Death. I believe both teams casted To the Death. The numbers look very good for Lost here. Just without zooming out, the numbers look very good for Lost. This is about even. About even here. We're just going to keep it zoomed in. Realize I had simplified graphics on. Maybe people were annoyed by that. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize. I'm just used to using simplified graphics, so I kind of forgot. But now we got the full graphics on. And this is a very important mid fight. Lost has to win this mid fight if they're going to have a chance in this match. RYF puts the ward on the side instead of putting another ward mid. Very interesting. This looks like a lost win, right? I'm seeing a lot of dead marches from RYF. It looks like Lost got this one. It looks like Lost got this one. A very big win for Lost here in the mid to keep this match very, very close. And even if they hold the arc for a little while, I think we will have a third arc in this match. And based on how close this match is, I think this is going to completely come down to the final mid fight. The mid fights are 1-for-1 so far. And I think this match is really going to come down to the third arc. Because, I mean, you can see that RYF has a slight advantage in occupation. But this occupation battle has been pretty even so far. Pretty even so far. So yeah, we got a game on our hands here. We have got a game on our hands. Everybody throw a like on the stream. That helps me out. Helps me get some more viewers. Once again, RYF is taking all of the outposts from Lost. I guess we made a mistake not attacking their outposts because it appears they are very, very lightly defended. That's one of the other things that I will say about Lost's strategy is that what they did against us was they were very heavy on the inside lane and much lighter on the outside lane. So we were able to take their Sky Altar a few times because they were so heavy on the inside lane. So they would take our Desert Altar over and over again. And we sort of like we tried to trade on that by taking their Sky Altar in return. And I think that's a pretty solid way to do it. You're kind of you're playing in an exploitative way where if the enemy is heavy in one lane, you play against you play to their weakness, or you take advantage of their weakness, and their weakness is just that they have fewer marches on the outside. But RYF has been pretty defensive on this top lane and pretty productive on this bottom lane. It seems like RYF has a real advantage on this bottom side. They've taken the Shrine of Life multiple times. They're putting heavy pressure on this Desert Altar here. They do have a rally hitting it. They've got a Justinian rally hitting here. Not a lot of swarming on it, which you'd think they would swarm the Yan garrison. I think what's happened with Yan over the years is people have realized that Yan is pretty darn swarmable. You know, he's got a tiny AoE. He does a bit of AoE, front-facing AoE damage. But Yan is swarmable. Yan Hera is a swarmable garrison. And because of that, he's just not the best Ark of Osiris garrison. Gorgo is less swarmable and thus better at Ark. But it looks like the Yan is going to hold up here. Lost is doing enough to hold on. Maybe not. The rally is winning. They need to swarm the rally more, right? You got to just swarm down this Justinian Nevsky rally. And then you'll be okay. Sin is dropping a ward over on the other side of the map. It looks like the Yan's going to go down. They did enough to... Did they do enough to capture this Desert Altar? There's some weird stuff going on with the Ark that I kind of want to look at. But this Desert Altar is so close. some nice range into this rally. Some very nice range into the rally. No one is swarming the rally. That's the problem. This rally has stayed up for way, way too long. A Justinian Nevsky rally cannot stay up for this freaking long. And it looks like this Jan's going to go down. There it goes. RYF with a key capture on this desert altar. So there's the arc. I would be surprised if they hold this arc. They know they need another arc. They know they need to win the next arc. So I'm sure there will be a third arc. Lost is trying to keep this match close enough for the third arc to be enough to win. It looks like now Lost is trying to harass the RYF outposts because RYF has just done so much to damage Lost point production with the outpost stuff. You know, Lost really puts a lot into this inside lane. And, you know, a Freddy Garrison is not going to do the trick. I guess there is a rally on this. Is there? I don't see the rally, but oh yeah, okay. There's a Tariq Bakal rally that's getting swarmed down. A Freddy Garrison. There is an opportunity here for Lost, but they just don't have enough people. RYF has really put a lot of marches here at the Desert Altar and have overall done a pretty good job of defending it. They've lost it here and there, but they've done a pretty good job overall. And I think what I'm seeing here is really just that, you know, Lost doesn't have the open field advantage in this match that they had against us. And so it just becomes, everything just becomes more difficult for them. You know, they're still putting a lot of pressure on this Desert Altar, but RYF is just able to deal with that pressure. So we do have a very close match here. The occupation score is in RYF's favor. And we're still only halfway through the match. So I think the question at this point is, okay, so this is a pretty costly disruption on the obelisk as well, where they're going to lose some teleports, right? They've still got some cities that need to teleport, and RYF just disrupted that teleport regeneration. I think the question at this point in the match is, can RYF apply enough pressure on the sides to where even if they lose the last arc, they still win the match? Now, implicit in that is the idea that if RYF is able to apply a lot of pressure, then they have a very good chance of winning the next mid-fight as well. And you see here that they're putting more pressure on the Sky Altar. This attack on the Sky Altar looks very promising. The Asher Benapal rally is going to really hurt the Xeno Hera garrison here. Although the rally is going down quick. Good job swarming this rally. Very good job swarming the rally. I don't think it was full. I don't think the rally was full. Look at this reaction. Very interesting reaction here. Which is kind of smart because RYF is not attacking on the inside lane. So Lost can afford to come over here and rotate and clear this field. Like, yeah, they're going to hold against the rally, but, you know, they can just kind of clear the field. They sent enough over to clear the field. So this is actually a good rotation here. I like this rotation. It just makes sense, you know? And it looks like RYF is just kind of, they're kind of chilling. They're just going for the last mid. No attacks from RYF at this point. They just want to win this next mid fight. You know, the RYF plan here is win the last mid fight, hold the arc, win the match. So it's all going to come down to this third arc, which, you know, is the case with many close matches. 6 says, definitely haven't seen you around as much. How's everyone in 770 doing? You know what? We're doing pretty good, 6. We're doing pretty good. We, you know, we merged. We used to be a 2 alliance kingdom, as you know, and we merged down into 1 alliance. You know, so the Korean group and the international group were all part of 1 alliance now. And I think that was well timed by adding Avo and Captain. I think merging into 1 alliance has worked out well. We get more gold chests now. We do more 1+1 forts. We're doing very good in alliance mobilization, for example. Like, we're scoring way more points in alliance mobilization than we have in the past. So, you know, we're down to 1 alliance. We're a smaller kingdom. We're transitioning to this next phase of Rise of Kingdoms where, you know, a lot of people have quit. Some people aren't as serious. I'm not as serious as I used to be, but I think things are going pretty well. You know, we've got a very big KVK coming up, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so RYF has the position that Lost likes to have, and Lost is being very cheeky here. Like, they just don't have a lot of chill here. You know, they do not have a lot of chill. I don't love this engage by Lost. I mean, I guess they have a numbers advantage. So maybe it's all right. It's all right. I kind of like it. You know what? I like this by Lost. They got the element of surprise. They got their skills off quickly. This is a pretty good attack by Lost. It looks like Morinth really initiated this attack, and it's a very bold play, but you know, they have the numbers advantage, and I think it's actually a really good play. I think this is a really good early attack by Lost here. I got to give them credit for it. I don't think I would have had the balls to make it because it was like a kind of it was a thin edge. It's a very thin edge, I would say. And you have to put your entire season on the line with an attack like this. And so I don't know that I'm bold enough to do that, but I think this was actually honestly a very good push by Just Morinth. And they got the skills off quickly, and it looks like this is going to be a Lost win in the mid. Feels that way. We're seeing way more deaths from RYF. And that's a very clutch attack here by Lost. To win this last arc. It will be interesting if they hold it or not, or if they go for another. If they might have to return this arc and go for a 4th. I don't know. I think you hold this. So they'll return this thing with like 15 minutes left, and then they can hold it for about 10 minutes. So they can make this the last arc, but are they good enough on the sides to hold it? I think they will be. I think Lost can hold this arc and keep the sides close enough to win this match. So, yeah, you know, your boy picked a pretty good match. RYF was a pretty big favorite in terms of power, but it looks like the underdog is at this point in control of the match. It's not over. RYF has done very well on the sides, and they're still coming mid, which is interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know about still coming mid. I think you like start to work on the sides. You know, I think I think you give up mid and go to the sides, to be honest. I think this is a misplay by RYF. I really think this is a misplay. I think you just start working those sides and try to win on the sides. The other thing you know, this is where like you also need warp, right? Because look, like Lost is breaking off though. Lost is breaking off. Yeah, I mean, I just think you're not getting enough value from all these marches going mid. But boy, Lost breaking off here is, oof, that's very risky to break off here. It's almost like Lost anticipated RYF would do what I thought they would do, which is like start focusing on the sides early. But RYF is doing this very stubborn return to mid, and they have so many marches here that I don't know if Lost can deal with it. Can Lost deal with all this pressure? You know what I mean? Like all these marches going to the side, these marches standing here. I think Lost is playing with fire here, actually. And they can see this. They have the ward to see all this RYF pressure. The arc still has not spawned, and RYF is getting back to middle. Wow. Wow. Morinth casting Heaven's Grace when no one's really fighting. Oh, this is trouble for Lost. Lost is screwed. RYF with the repush middle. Lost rotated away. They rotated away. And now RYF is getting the mid. You do not see this very often at all. This is a very rare occurrence in Ark of Osiris where RYF lost the middle fight and then they just all resent to middle and they just had fresh marches against the worn down Lost marches. And because Lost attacked early, RYF had enough time to get back here and they're going to grab the Ark. And I don't think Lost can get back here in time. Though they might, because obviously Lost is full sending back mid. So this is going to be a contested Ark, but I just think the fact that it's on RYF's side, the Ark is on RYF's side, and they're probably going to be able to move it down the field a bit more here. And that's just a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage when the enemy is attacking into you, and you can literally just like hit them as they're walking towards the Ark. So a wild turn of events here. Pretty clutch grab. Well, it looks like somebody from Lost has it right now, which is a pretty clutch move. To be moving this Ark back to middle. This is a clutch move. Actually, I think it was just like bad movement by the guy from RYF here. Yeah, see, this is just like a very bad spot for Lost. Oh, they are just screwed. And they're just giving up on mid. They're just giving up on mid. Oof, that is crazy. I have honestly like almost never seen that before. Obviously, I had that totally wrong. I said they should have gone to the sides. But they just understood the timing of these things well enough. They full sent back to mid and overwhelmed what was left of Lost. Really crazy stuff. Not something you see very often at all. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Glad we captured all of that. A dynamic you do not see in Ark of Osiris very often. And we're seeing it in this Osiris League qualifier finals. I believe that I was listening to Bulba talk about the pool play because, you know, we were in this pool as well. So I was curious what Bulba had to say. And one thing he said was that Lost always seems to choke in these qualifiers. And they never make it into the final stage. I don't know that I would call this a choke because it was actually a very good attack here. But then to not send back to middle, and to sort of like they kind of like split up, like half of them fought the bottom side, half of them fought the top side. You know, I don't know exactly how you do that better. I think you have to try to like kill off your really low health marches, and you have to you know, you have to like not send anyone to the side. Like no one should have repositioned to the side there. But it's almost like what RYF did was inevitable to be successful because they just got back to mid with fresh marches and they killed the half health marches of Lost. But I think if you play it a little bit differently, then maybe this whole scrum, the second scrum here goes differently and you have a chance. But yeah, looks like RYF is probably going to take this match. Huge presence for blue here. I think what I'm seeing from RYF in this match is that they like don't really garrison a ton. It's almost like they're not like filling up their garrisons, but they're just like putting a bunch of people in the field. Something like that. But just like the defensive open field presence of RYF has been very good at this Desert Altar. Very good. And that has stymied a big part of Lost strategy, which is to load up on this inside lane and capture the enemy Desert Altar. So let's see if they hold this. I think you want to hold it, right? I think you want to hold it. If you're RYF, you've done well enough on the sides, and you've done poorly enough at mid, then you just want to hold this thing. You just want to hold it. Make this the last arc of the match. You get 4,000. You basically have a 4,000 point cushion. And then you just have to, like, do pretty decent on the sides and you win. So I think it's a no-brainer hold here. Absolute no-brainer. And RYF's looking good. It is a shame that, you know, well, whatever. I'm going to complain that my internet connection is bad and my microphone is kind of scuffed because, honestly, I'm really... this was a great match. This was actually a great match. We saw some things in this match that you really don't see very often at all. And we saw some very good play from both sides. So, yeah, you know, let's see how this thing wraps up. Let's capture the whole thing. I think RYF is looking very, very good to win this match. But it's close enough that I think both teams are going to play their absolute best. So this is a risky play by Choppy. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Now, he forced the return. He forced the return of the arc. So there's going to be another arc. That's crazy, man. He should have just let this thing die. Like, he should have let the arc drop. I think the arc carrier here should have let the arc drop. And then they could have just, like, killed this one march and ensured the victory. But Choppy's aggro play has caused a fourth arc to spawn in 7 minutes, and that does give Lost a chance to win this match. They suddenly have a chance to win this match. We've got a very 770 heavy chat going on. X770 or 6 is in there. Matba's in the chat. Shout out to Matba. Natsu's in the chat. Both longtime members of my kingdom. And then we've got Knight in the chat as well. And Knight snuck into our kingdom by taking over an account of a player who has retired. So shout out to everybody in 770 in the chat. I appreciate the support. Be sure to throw a like on the stream. And shout out to everybody else watching as well. This Osiris League play here. The Korean RYF against the International Lost Alliance from 1903. The Lost gets this Sky Altar. I believe this is the first time they've gotten this Sky Altar. And, you know, we'll have to see if RYF is prepared to take this thing back. Because some teams are not really all that well prepared to take stuff back. They're already heading mid. And this is like an interest. So Lost is heading mid as well. They want to get there early. Yeah, so like this is actually a pretty key capture because you can see that Lost is actually down about 3,500 points. And so it's the kind of situation where if Lost was dominating the map, or if RYF was dominating the map, they could potentially lose this last arc but still win the match. But this Sky Altar capture and hold, like this is a very thorough hold here, is going to mean that everything comes down to this last arc. It all comes down to this last arc. And if I'm Lost, I do the exact same thing again. Well, they don't have the numbers advantage this time. Look at this. Look at these guys. Got to go. They got to go mid. They got to go mid. They got to go mid. The mobilization looks about even to mid. RYF has the positional advantage. It'll be interesting to see if Lost tries to be aggressive again. I feel like they have a slight numbers advantage again. You know, I feel like their numbers advantage is just very, very slight. They both teams can see the numbers of the other side. Both teams know the numbers here. RYF has taken the temple. You see how important it is to get to mid first and take the temple. Both of these teams have really prioritized taking that temple position. You know, it's been like a big deal in this match, having the temple. Whoever gets there first, they make it a point to stand on the enemy team's side. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, I understand the hesitation from Lost here. The numbers advantage was very marginal, if any, and it didn't work last time. And so they're just going to wait. They're going to wait. They're going to go in late. You know, Lost has won 2 out of 3 of the initial, mid-fight engages. But if I were a betting man, I would bet on RYF on this one. They feel very well set up here. They feel very well set up. And it looks like they have the numbers advantage. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. Yeah. The RYF numbers advantage seems to be slight, but it seems to be there. And Lost just has no chill, man. They just always go in early. I would not go in. Wait, I mean, I guess RYF has more people coming. I don't know. Lost ball is so tight. They have such a tight ball here that you just literally can't even tell how many people they have. Even when you zoom out, you really can't. You just can't tell. It looks like they have nobody, but you know that ball is just full of people. And here they go. Here they go. So let's lock in here for this mid-fight. Heaven's Grace right off the bat from RYF. That's pretty interesting. I think that's good. I think the Heaven's Grace is a little bit early, but you do want to cast Heaven's Grace early in the match because you just get more bang for your buck when your marches are at high health. So interesting that they used Heaven's Grace instead of, Dust Up or Total Vision. So we pretty much have like Total Vision versus Heaven's Grace here. I'm surprised we're not seeing more skills. We only saw 4 points from both teams. I don't know if that's a visual error or what, but very, not too many skills cast here, which is interesting. And it looks very even so far. It looks very even. I think in the next 30 seconds, we're going to be able to tell. I think Lost is winning. I think Lost is winning by a little bit. Lucky 1908, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. We got an excellent ARC match going on here between RYF and Lost. Winner advances, loser goes home. This is still very close. This is still very, very close. Morin looking away from mid. No, not even looking away from mid, just throwing another ward up here. That's a nice ward. You want to have that vision. You want to have that vision mid. It looks like Lost is winning this. It looks like Lost is winning this one. This is a key mid fight. This is a key mid fight. This is for the match. This is for the match right here. And it looks like Lost is taking it. The entire fight has been on their side of the temple, but it does not matter. There's still 55 seconds before the arc spawns. It really didn't matter that the fight was on Lost's side because if you can clear the enemy, you can pick the arc up with your own sweet time. I'm gonna guess here that RYF is full sending back mid. Yeah, they're full sending back mid. They want to try and disrupt this arc. They need to slow it down for 7 minutes. And they can chase this thing all the way back, but look at how many marches are coming back from Lost. It was a convincing enough win mid that, and the timing was good. They're going to be able to grab the arc before these fresh marches get back. It will not be a repeat of the last arc fight. And I think Lost is going to, so my gosh, man, what a huge mistake. What a huge mistake to return this arc. Returning this arc literally is going to cost RYF the match. If the arc carrier had simply let their march die, the arc gets dropped, Choppy from Lost grabs the arc, but he has nowhere to go with it. He can't return it. You just kill the arc carrier. You just kill Choppy. You pick the arc back up. You hold it for the final 10 minutes. You return it right before the match ends, and you just win. You just win. But because that arc carrier returned the arc, we have one last arc. Lost wins the mid fight. It's still being contested. I mean, this thing is still close, right? It's going to be hard for them to return this thing in the next 6 minutes. They're going to have the arc on their side of the map. They're going to have the Ark on their side of the map. It's a good run here by Tor Viking. It's a good enough run by Tor Viking to give Lost a nice advantage here. They have a big advantage in this mid fight here. It looks like that Lost will probably grab it again. And if they just get one more good run, yeah, so Awaken's got it with a full march. A full march, and you just run with this thing. I take it to the outpost. I take this thing to the outpost. I don't know why you're going to the side. I just take it to the outpost. This outpost is a pretty safe place to take an Ark. You know, so you just take it to the outpost. You got 5 minutes to get there. It's going to be close. RYF is just going to full send mid for the rest of this match. You know, they are just full sending. Boy, this is like, this person, I don't know. I don't know, man. The occupation is close enough that I think you just full send mid. Just full send mid. They're trying to, I don't know, I just don't see the point of disrupting the buildings at this point. I guess you kind of have to if you're RYF, right? Because if no Ark gets returned, you know, there's the scenario where no Ark gets returned. And if you're RYF, you want to make sure you win if no Ark gets returned. And it's actually an even match in that regard, right? Because Lost has held this Sky Altar the whole time. They have held the Sky Altar this whole time. So RYF has they have to accomplish two things right now. They have to get an advantage on the sides, which they're close to having one, but they don't have it. And they need to stop this Ark from being returned, which is very tough to do. Very, very tough to do. Mappa says Ghost Boy #1. That's my boy. Matba with the friends in 903. Our former enemies and our former allies. Now, why do you go to the sides? Why not go to the outpost? Why not go to the outpost? I mean, I get that there's like a risk to it, but it's a controlled risk. Whereas trying to get to the city, I don't know if you get. I mean, it's close. I mean, it's borderline. It's borderline, but I mean, it's all right. It's all right, I guess. So I think this map is going to even out soon. Actually, it's not. It's actually not going to even out. They're going to hold the Shrine of War, I think. Very small rally from Sinith here. Or it's not even a rally, it's a march. This Sky Altar was key. Holding this Sky Altar was key. RYF had no plan to get back that Sky Altar. And you see, you see the risk of going to the cities instead of the outpost, which is this, like, you're cutting it close. You're cutting it very close, especially if somebody from RYF actually grabs this next Ark, which they probably can't do because they're all dead. This is ultimately going to be very well calibrated by Lost. They're going to get back to their city in time. They're going to return this Ark, and they're going to just straight up win this match. Awaken actually gets through, almost gets through. Now you just need one more carrier. You know, they're good. They're going to get it done here. They're going to get it done here. And, you know, they've done well enough on the sides where, like, they probably... Well, you need to return the Ark because you don't know about gathering. You don't want to have any last-minute shenanigans. But, yeah, it looks like Lost is going to pull off the win in this very back-and-forth matchup. At first we thought RYF was going to win. Then we thought Lost was going to win. Then we thought RYF was certainly going to win. A huge mistake by the Ark carrier on RYF opened the door for Lost, and Lost from 1903 is going to take home this match and advance to the final group play of Osiris League 2024. A little Freddy emoji at the end, showing a bit of that that typical 903 tude there. And, you know, when it's a hard fought match like this, you definitely get a bit of, you get a bit of genuine animosity when you fight somebody this hard whether it's in ARC or in KVK, when you have like a real tough fight, there's a respect you have for your opponent, but there's also a bit of real animosity. So I can certainly appreciate that Freddy nostril emoji. It's one of my favorite emojis as well. It simply encapsulates many situations that one encounters in this game. Oh, so Ghost Boy is from 2058, Matt Bob's Old Kingdom. Mofo Kyle says, think they might still lose on points without this arc. Yeah, we'll have to see. So this arc was 4,500 points, so very close to losing without this with this one. Very, very close. You obviously want to return that arc, and not leave it up to chance, right? So a nice win for Lost, a great match, really a great match. A shout out to the developers of ROK for letting content creators like myself actually stream Osiris League this season, because we got to watch a very, very good match there between RYF and Lost. Ghost Boy, the MVP, 202,000 points. Let's take a look. Lost at winning the open field, healing quite a bit more. RYF had a lot more power, and so Lost did need to heal quite a bit more. Not a lot of gathering. Gathering didn't really make the difference here. Mofo Kyle was correct that without that 4,500 point arc at the end, they would have lost this match by 100 or so points. So a very nice win for Lost there, and they will go ahead and advance. Well, I've got full AP. I'm just going to kill some barbs real quick. Because I'm just chilling in Zone 1 right now. I decided to not use a teleport to go back to the Zone 3. I'm just chilling in Zone 1. And I'll bring my ult out here at day change to do some Eve of the Crusade forts. Very competitive Eve of the Crusade here. We have a training buff going on right now in 1770, so we're catching up to our allies in 1824, as well as our enemies in 2268. You can see that some of the whales in 2268 are scoring big points here at the top of the leaderboard. I think Lord Eddie Chadsky actually trained again this morning. He trained nude without the training buff, because 2268 did their training buff yesterday, at day change. So, yeah, Chadsky did a big training again this morning. Shout out to Uni, who did a very big train for us. Uni's one of the key players, key leaders here in 1770. Shout out to Barney with a top 10 performance. And Idun went absolutely ham in the Eve of the Crusade, training all the way up to 11th place in Eve of the Crusade. A very, very high placement for Idun here. And Adinavo also with a very high training. So, yeah, interesting things afoot here in Eve of the Crusade. On the precipice of a high-profile KVK. I've been listening to a bit of the talk about this KVK. I think that the people on Facebook who are saying that this is a free win for 2268 have no idea what they're talking about. I don't think the 2268 thinks that way. I just think it's like a kind of an easy thing to accuse an Imperium kingdom of, is like, oh, you're playing against a bunch of kingdoms we've never heard of. You're just trying to take an easy win. I think it's a very close matchup. I think it's a very, very fair matchup. Let me grab this map and show you what the matchup looks like. I'm gonna remind myself that I don't want to say too much about this KVK because there's a ton of content creators in 2268, and so we have gotten a very good we've gotten a very good all right, I guess this is, am I giving away anything here on my I think we're okay. Can I hide this? Here we go. All right. Yeah, so here's the matchup. Here is the matchup. We've got the stats here at the bottom. Maybe this is not that easy to read. Oh, let me turn this off. Yeah, so I know this is not like the easiest thing to read, but you essentially have here. Let me do this. All right, you essentially have so here's 22. Here's 2268 up here. Here's 2268 up here. And obviously 2268 is going to come in here. They're going to go in here. I doubt our allies in I doubt that our allies in Daybreak are going to fight them in this zone. Our allies are going to come into Gummer. Here's us. We're Greenwood, the good guys. We're going to go here, and we can also go here. Water is a very strong camp here. These are our allies in water. Water has 1.3 trillion KP, which is about the same as fire. So fire and water are about equal in this KVK. And the question is really, well, listen, I'm going to put it this way, right? I was listening to a podcast earlier, and one of the content creators from 2268, they said that they feel like fire and water are even. They think fire and water are even in this matchup. And so at that point, the question becomes, okay, if those two camps are even, then how does the top side win? It's top versus bottom. And as long as water wins this zone 7 here against earth and wind, as long as water wins this zone, then wind, which is a pretty capable camp, they've got 166, which is a pretty good A kingdom. As long as our side wins this zone here, which we can help them, I mean, if need be, we can help them in this zone, and we can enter Kingsland through this zone, even if we lose Gummer. Then at that point, wind is pretty much blocked out of Kingsland. And fire's only ally is going to be Earth, which is, I think, pretty I mean, they just don't have very good stats. Earth doesn't have a lot of kills. They have 346 million kills combined. So, if 2268 is even to water camp, then I would say it's pretty hard to picture how the top side wins this KVK. That's just, that's just on paper, right? And I think, as a kingdom, 770 is right where we want to be, which is that no one is talking about us. Like, they're just not, we're not even a factor in this KVK. It's just water camp, and there's a lot of hype around 3125, which is sort of a newer, it's like a new kingdom with a lot of activity. And nobody's really talking about 770. And we've never played against a big Imperium before. We've never been in a high-profile KVK before. And, we're just kind of right where we want to be. Because I don't think that people are really even thinking about some of the biggest factors in this KVK. So that is the situation here. It looks like I have accidentally gathered or used AP on my Gaius Various part as I try to use my AP. See what y'all are saying in chat, though. Six says Rice. Rice's group migrated to Six's kingdom. Very interesting. Didn't help in KVK, though. So Six is bringing in a lot of old friends into his new casual kingdom. Which is good. Which is good. Glad to hear that Rice is still playing. I certainly miss... I miss Rice and I miss Six. Those are two guys who are very high on my list of people who I miss playing with. But, the game moves on. The game moves on. I thought I was basically done with ROK. I thought I was going to become like a casual player. And now I find myself killing a bunch of Marauders, ranking in the top 100 in Eve of the Crusade, and getting ready for a KVK that I hope to fight quite a bit in. It doesn't line up amazingly well with my work schedule, but it lines up okay with it. Actually, I don't know. I actually don't even know how much I'm going to be able to play in this arc, or in this KVK, but anyway, it's going to be a good one, and I'm certainly going to play as much as I possibly can. I think it'll be nice to play in the same KVK as other content creators, so that we essentially have the same frame of reference to talk about where the game is at, right? We're all going to experience the same thing, and hopefully some of us can talk about it. It would be great to get on a stream with Plato and Only Farmer and maybe even Chisgull after the fighting is done and talk about what we experienced. I think that's something that does not happen enough in ROK, is players talking after a war is finished. I think that's when a lot of the best possible conversations happen. And I think it would be great if we do that during this KVK. So, it's just one of those things. Here I am streaming on a Sunday morning. I thought I was done. I just thought I was done with this game. But, what happens is that it's, what it is? It's like life is kind of weird. And sometimes you don't have a lot of control over your life. Sometimes you feel, you just don't get to do as much cool stuff as you want. And then you start playing Rise of Kingdoms and you feel like you're productive. It's so easy to do productive things in this game. I got up early yesterday morning, and I trained on all my farms. I trained on my two level 25 farms. Lil Kuh here. Lil Kuh, has never done a big training in Eve before in his life. And Lil Kuh trained a lot of troops yesterday. Lil Kuh is ranked 146th in Eve of the Crusade. And that's after doing 0 Marauders. This was all from training. Lil Kuh even finished 20th in Mightiest Governor. Or 21st. Lil Kuh finished 21st in Mightiest Governor yesterday. All from training troops on stage 6. And you know what? I spent like 3 hours in this game training stuff on my farms. And let me go get on my other alt so I can accept Bogus's farms into this alliance. But yeah, I spent like 3 hours training yesterday, and I felt productive. I don't know. I know it's just a game, and it's a huge waste of time, and it's a life ruiner. But once you sort of get invested in the game and care about the game, there's always productive stuff you can do. Whether it's barb chaining, whether it's whether it's doing stuff on your farms and gathering and sending out gatherers on your farms. There's always productive things you can do in Rise of Kingdoms. And you know what? It's a dopamine hit. It's a genuine good feeling. It's a genuine dopamine hit. And, you know, you also have friendships tied into all that. And so, I'm not saying ROK has like completely pulled me back, but I will say that I've been playing a fair bit in the last week while I had absolutely zero work to do. Natsu says, Farm's going to be MVP as usual for all camps. Yeah, I think, well, so Natsu, I think it's interesting. Gosh, do I want to say things publicly? You know what? I'm going to drop that. I'll talk to you later, Natsu, about what I think is going to be the actual key. But I think farms will obviously be very important. Natsu also says, yeah, I quit also. No idea why I came back again for like the third time. Yeah, I mean, Natsu came back. I came back. And actually Max came back as well. Shout out to Max, who was gone from the game for a few months. And he has come back recently as well. And I saw him doing forts earlier. So it looks like we're going to have Max for this KVK also, which is really cool. Max is a really good player and leader from 2263. Migrated over with Union Company. And so, Choppy, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, Choppy, if you want to watch, Choppy, if you want to watch the recording, if you want to go back, watch your match, I very prominently feature, I assume you're Choppy from 903. I very, very prominently feature the very clutch harassment you did of the arc carrier, and how that arc carrier kind of freaked out, returned the arc, and how that was basically the difference in the match. So Choppy, you were kind of like the MVP there, I would say. You made the play of the game. So yeah, shout out to you. And yeah, if you guys want to go back and watch a pretty epic win from 1903, I'm sure some of you will enjoy reliving that and my coverage of it. I apologize if the stream quality is bad, and I apologize if the audio quality is not great. But yeah, Choppy, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Oh, Sinith, need to rewatch now. Cheers. Yeah, I think you guys will enjoy it. I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. And everybody stay tuned. We have more matches coming up at 15 UTC. We have an absolute... See, I don't know if I want to compete with Bulba. I assume I can make a very good guess at what Bulba is going to stream later. I mean, I can like make a very, very good guess about what Bulba is going to stream later. So I don't know if I want to compete with him or do a different match. We'll see if Bulba streams later, right? I'm gonna stream one of two matches. I'm either gonna stream IN versus 93T, which is gonna be an absolute banger. I mean, it's gonna be an absolute banger. I mean, this is a monster match right here. 1606's main team against 1093's main team. You know, I would definitely say 1093 is the favorite here, because if I'm not wrong, I think they won, like they literally won the entire Osiris League last time. So they're definitely the favorites, but it'll be great to see 93T play a very tough opponent this early on. If not that match, I guess there's some other good matches we could watch. I'm kind of feeling 93P against V648. But we'll take a look. I'm not fully committed to a match at 15 UTC yet, but if nobody else is streaming, I'm definitely going to do IN against 93T. In the meantime, I am going to open up some armaments. Might as well, guys. Might as well open up some armaments. Because I have been itchy to do so. Oh, Choppy became a member. Choppy, welcome to Officer Chat. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. I'm so rusty as a YouTuber that I couldn't identify the difference between somebody becoming a member of the channel and somebody just subscribing or following or whatever. So yeah, Choppy, appreciate the sub. Awesome. So what am I gonna do? Yeah, let's open some armaments. Yeah, so the situation I have with armaments right now is that for a very long time, I just built arch formation. You know, I was like a core garrison lead for our kingdom, and so I built like a pretty good arch formation set because I wanted to be as strong against swarming as I possibly could. Now the problem with that is that all my open field marches also have arch formation, and so I have these like incredibly good open field sets. Like my Nevsky set is amazing. I've got Breaker. I've got Cohesive. I believe Primed is pretty good too. Yeah, Primed is really good. 5% march speed. Some of these are not great, but I mean, I've got like a really good arch formation set on a lot of my commanders. Even on Guan, like Guan's set is like a really good arch formation set. I've got Cohesive again. I've got Ward. Natsu, thank you for the membership. Welcome to Officer Chat. Very much appreciate the support, everybody. You know what? I'm gonna have to upgrade the internet. I'm gonna have to get a better connection so the quality is better. And yeah, I'm gonna have to get a better microphone, I think, as well. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate the support, guys. It means a lot. It really does mean a lot. You know, I don't know how much I'm going to do with RLK content in the future, but I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. So I'm at least going to do some because I just enjoy it, right? It's just fun. That's all it is. So anyway, I have like all these great arch formation sets on my marches, but arch formation is simply not as good as wedge formation in the open field. Wedge formation absolutely wrecks it. It absolutely wrecks it. You know, I think part of it is that the actual armaments, the armaments that you can get on wedge are a little bit different, if I'm not wrong. I guess a lot of them are the same, but like a few of them are different, right? You know, the really like elite armaments and even the rare armaments are a little bit different on wedge, and that 5% skill damage makes a pretty big difference, right? It just makes a big difference to sort of build towards skill damage instead of normal attack damage. And so I'm trying to shift to wedge formation on all of my open field marches, and it's a very long process. The Boudica is the one I'm going to get done first. I've already transitioned my my archer march to wedge, and then I've also got wedge on my secondary cav march. You can see this thing needs a lot of work. I mean, I still have a purple. You know, I still have a purple armament on this march here. So I have room to get better. I have room to get better, and so we are opening up wedge formation with our armaments, and we're just gonna go for it here. Algebra joining the chat. Algebra, glad to have you here. I was kind of like not sure if I would open all my armaments today, but screw it. You know, all my good friends are in the chat. We've gotten 2 new members to Officer Chat, so let's just open everything up. We're going wedge formation on all of this stuff, and let's just see what we can get. I did also notice that there's this new bulk recycle thing, which I think is very cool. I'm digging the bulk recycle thing. I'm just going to go through these, make sure there's nothing good. There obviously isn't. But we're just going to bulk recycle all of these right off the rip here. Yeah, Whalgebra. I don't know. Whalgebra is like a more well. Whalgebra is an okay name, but Algebro is a better name. Algebro is a great name for algebra. In fact, he's not really algebra anymore. He is literally Algebro. You know, one of those dudes who is surely being recruited by bigger kingdoms, and we're just glad that he's still with us. You know, 770 was never really, you know, for anyone who knew our kingdom well, they would know that we were never really at risk of, you know, dying or anything like that. But we certainly had some leaner times when, you know, we lost our last KVK where it was like a very unfair matchup. We've actually lost 2 KVKs in a row. I stepped down as the leader. Players like Natsu stopped playing, Duke stopped playing. Did I even check these? I didn't check that one, so I'm gonna keep it. Just not recycle it yet. All right, we're just gonna keep doing 10 of these at a time. You know, see, you guys don't even know King Mustachio. King Mustachio is an old friend of mine. I brought him with me to 770, and I feel bad that it didn't work out. All right, so we did get a couple of legendaries here. Well, we got an inscription, a legendary inscription here. I'm not even excited just off the rip for the inscriptions anymore. It's more like you got to see what it is. You got to see what it is. What's retaliatory? Okay, that's nothing special. Nothing good on that. Nothing good on that legendary. It's a nice inscription, but it's just a purple. No big deal there. Nothing there. These are not even lockable. We will insta-recycle these two. But now we've got the legendary with the inscription. Let's take a look. Legendary with the inscription. Embattled. I think that's good. Whenever the wielder's troop takes any skill damage, it has a 10% chance to gain 50% rage. That's not great. I mean, that's like 5 rage per turn. It's not terrible. I mean, I guess it's all right. It's like okay, but not great. But we'll lock it. We'll lock this for. We definitely lock this, and then we recycle everything else. What does your pity look? What does your pity look like for Wedge? I actually don't know how the pity works. I have no idea how the pity system works. So how do you even look at what your pity is? I mean, I picked up a rare just yesterday. So I literally picked up a rare like last night, actually. I picked up this. Oh no, I picked this up from Travel Quests. Whenever the wielder's troop launches a basic attack, it has a... See, this is like so weird, man. This is why Wedge is better than this is why Wedge is much better for open field than Arch Formation. Because like the inscriptions for Arch Formation, the rare inscriptions for Arch Formation are like not even like a good thing for open field, right? It has a 10% chance to consume 100 rage to gain a 35% bonus to normal attack damage for 2 seconds. Like, I mean, it's good. Like, that's a positive, I guess. But, like, for a rare inscription, this is, like, barely even positive. And so that's why Wedge is better than Arch for everything other than Garrison. Alloys, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Alloys, are you in... Alloys, did you migrate to 2268? I seem to remember you joining 2605, if I'm not wrong. So are you in 2268 now, Alloys? Go to the commander formation thing and press I. The commander formation thing. Where am I looking? Where am I looking? Like here? Gosu's playing the top 32 match in 20 minutes. Okay, Gosu, what division are you in? All right, so we are going against Alloys in KVK, another enemy. We've had a couple enemies in the chat. Only Farmer checked in earlier. And Alloys in there now, so they are scouting us. They are scouting their enemy content creators just as we are scouting them. I'm pretty confident that we will be giving away less information than your content creators do. Because quite frankly, you guys have already given away quite a bit. Very useful stuff. Very, very useful stuff. Check for wedge. Okay. All right, let's put Charles Martel on wedge. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so my pity is in very good shape actually. I'm going to get a rare or special inscription within the next 22. Okay. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I should be able to get this before we start fighting. So that's good. That's cool, yeah. Ellis, yeah, it's inevitable to give away info. You know, it's just inevitable. But there's like certain things. There's certain things. I don't even know if I should say it. I don't even want to say it, but like, there's just like this one thing that you guys gave away that like just gives us a feel for like how we can win, basically. So I'm gonna try to be kind of careful, but I give away a lot too. I definitely give away a lot. I gave away a lot in our last KVK for sure, and I'm sure 2217 took advantage of that. There's a way to guarantee a special rare in your instrument slot. Might be a good idea to wait. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait then. Yeah, I definitely want. Well, I want it in one of the lower slots, right? Like, what's the instrument spot? Is it this? 1 second. In this slot? We don't want it in this slot. Isn't this where Hunter goes? Doesn't Hunter go in the instrument slot, or does Hunter go in the book? All right, let's think about what Algebra is saying here. Is the instrument slot really good? Oh, it's unstoppable. Wielder gains a 5% boost to skill damage dealt. When dealing direct damage to a target, there's a 30% chance the damage will be increased by 10%. That's obviously very, very good. Let's see what Boiling Blood is. 2% boost to skill damage dealt. And whenever... And it's basically the same skill, just a little bit nerfed compared to the top tier inscription. So Hunter is top left. Lower you can get also, but that's a riskier way. So essentially what you guys are saying is that, you know, I'm just trying to like make sure I don't get a Hunter, that I don't get the top left slot. And yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on the inscriptions until Algebra tells me how to guarantee the slot. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, we're chilling on the armaments. Here's the plan with the transmutation stones, right? Here's the plan. So here's the deal, guys. I didn't play this game much for a couple months. That caused me to I'm gonna turn the music down more. I don't know why, but it just feels loud. It just feels loud. Anyway, here's the deal. I barely played this game for a few months, and I was not recycling at all, and I was not buying out the shop at all. So I did like a huge recycle 2 or 3 days ago. I just recycled a ton of stuff. I'm up to 1440 of these now. So I'm just gonna like be able to buy these transmutation stones every week for the next like 3 weeks or so, because I do need a lot of transmutation stones. And the reason for that is because I need to roll all these Boudica things, right? Like all these Boudica armaments need to get rolled and improved. I've got 8 left on the Bellicose. I've got 7 left on the Brutal. 3.5% attack. Eclipsed is really good. 2.5% less skill damage is like really, really good. That's really, really good. I've got 10 rolls left on this. And I've got 5 rolls left on the haste. So there's a lot of rolling that I have to do. And I also need to roll on this. Actually, I'm going to use my crystal on this. I'm going to use my crystal on the forceful for Jan. And then I need to transmute this as well. So I have a lot of things that I can do with these stones. I need more stones. And so that's kind of the plan. I'm not using them now because I might get a better armament. I might get a better piece from all these chests. Especially if we have a nice little plan here. Can you tell him now I gotta go soon? Sure, I'll DM in Discord with pics. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it on the stream just because I want to make sure I do it right. Save golden instrument slots here. Oh, you save them in the dispatch. You save them in the dispatch until you're at 0 on pity. Is that what it is? You save golden instruments here until you're at 0 on pity, and then you're guaranteed to get it from one of these. Gotcha. So I could still get it before then. Right, I could still get it in the next 22, and that would screw up the plan. Okay, got it. So Sewell has a video for it. All right. Yeah, so we're going to hold off on the armaments until I sort of set everything up. And we're getting close to the match time. We got about 20 minutes before the next match. I'll just do a bit of an account overview and tell you about all of my issues. So, the other issue I have is that I've got a lot of materials, but I just have absolutely no blueprints. I want to improve my cav set, obviously. This is the first priority, to awaken stuff. Because I just don't have a lot of materials at all. I don't have a lot of blueprints. I have more materials than blueprints. You can see that there's just not any cav stuff that I can build. I can build a hope cloak, but I already have a hope cloak. I could awaken a hope cloak, but do I really want to awaken something on an infantry march that I don't really garrison with? I'm just really lacking in blueprints. I'm hardcore lacking in blueprints. And I even forgot to finish the last the last trading post quests and get that full Ash of the Dawn blueprint. I could have spent 3,000 gems to get the Ash of the Dawn blueprint, but then I got busy with work and forgot to buy it. So I mean, I'm just screwing up a ton of stuff. But basically, with items and stuff, I'm basically just going to buy a Ring of the Doom blueprint when KVK starts. I'm going to buy a Horn blueprint when KVK starts. I'm then going to further awaken these two pieces. Hopefully, I get some Soroli coins and I can buy a Sacred Dominion blueprint and/or a Pride of the Khan blueprint. So I'm kind of just saving my materials at the moment. I do need to finish my archer set and get the waist and the gloves to legendary. But I'm not sure that I even have those pieces, right? I'm not sure that I even have those blueprints. Um, yeah, I'm way short on the legs, and I'm almost there on the gloves. So I'm gonna build the gloves before KVK. Probably I'm not gonna build a whole lot more. I need to look at my second Cav set. How's my second Cav set looking? How is the second Cav set looking? Okay, so I have full legendaries in the second Cav set. And yeah, the other issue is, right? You know, other than, you know, with the Boudica set, obviously I can make this legendary. Then do I really want to make my third cavalry set legendary? Because I don't know that I'm always going to run 3 cav marches. Like, I might go to 2 archer marches. I'm going to probably build Herman next, then I'll have Zug Herman, and I could potentially run like Boudica YSG or Boudica somebody new and do 2 cav marches, 2 archer marches, and 1 infantry march. So I don't know that I want to build more cav legendary gear. So I'm just a little bit capped out. I might end up awakening this Hope Cloak anyway. I might end up awakening or refining this Hope Cloak anyway. Just because it's about time I started upgrading this thing, right? Oh, I have a bunch of Eternal Knights also. So I could start making my infantry set better. I could use some materials to make my infantry set better. That's certainly viable. We're starting to get to that point, right? Because I just think with my 5th March, I'm going to leave it purple for a while. Because it's very unclear what my 5th March ultimately will be. Will it be cavalry? Will it be archers? I'm just not sure. Ella says blueprints are rough. I'm always out. Yeah. I mean, I'm out. I'm always out as well, but I haven't even played it well, Alloys. I mean, I haven't been doing, you know, I missed some of those, I forget the name of it, but it's the event where like you're on the board, you kind of like select tiles, and on the 5th level of the event, you can get 5 legendary blueprints. I have not been doing that event. I have not been doing the egg event and getting materials or blueprints from that. And like I said, I just straight up forgot to buy. I straight up forgot to buy a full Ash of the Dawn blueprint from the Lucerne Scroll, which is just ridiculous. Daniel CS says, what's better, Unstoppable or Intrepid? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Unstoppable, and then what do we have? Intrepid. What does Intrepid do? So that's just, Intrepid is just a straight 10% skill damage dealt. Whereas Unstoppable is 5%, and then it's a 30% chance that the damage will be increased by 10%. Well, I mean, so this is basically like when dealing direct damage to a target. So that's going to be skill damage, right? That's going to be skill damage, not like every turn. I think so. I think this is just when you're using an active skill. You have a 30% chance to do 10% more damage. So how do we convert this to... So, I mean, this would be like 3%, right? Like, it's like 3%... It's 3% damage boost every time you do an active skill, right? A 3% damage boost. But that's only skill damage. I feel like it's only improving skill damage because I feel like direct damage is different than normal attack damage. So to me, this is only 8% skill damage, Daniel. Like, to me, Unstoppable is only giving you 8% of skill damage, whereas Intrepid is giving you 10% of skill damage. That's sort of what I would say. Yeah, Algebra's agreeing that Intrepid is much better than Unstoppable. Algebra says it's the blueprints I am lacking, or else I would be close to maxing equipment now. You know, one thing that Algebra told me recently that was very interesting is that some of the stats on these armaments are like separate from like the main. So Algebra, are all the stats different? Like, so for example, on Unstoppable, or let's say on Intrepid, right? Let's make this real simple. On Intrepid, when it gives a 10% skill damage dealt, the way we thought about this in the past was that it just added to your existing skill damage dealt. Like if you were getting a bonus 15% skill damage from other stuff like your castle skin and your commander's skills, we felt that this 10% skill damage was being added on to that existing skill damage bonus. But what Algebra said recently is that the armament stat bonuses actually slot differently. It's like literally a different slot. It's like a separate part of the calculation. Yeah. I understand that the 10% on Intrepid is the same type of boost as the 5% from Unstoppable. My question is, does the 10% on Intrepid add on to the 5% you get from the Twilight Falls skin, or is it separate, or is it sort of a separate slot in the calculation, or is it just like the weird like wonky stuff? Why Am I Here says there is a really good video that explains it by 68 Bus Driver. Yeah, I think that's probably where we started hearing about it. I will have to check out that video for sure. But thank you, Why Am I Here? That's good. I will definitely watch that. I believe that 68 Bus Driver is also in 2268. He's a new content creator to me, but I believe he's also in this KVK that we're in. So shout out to him, and I'll be sure to watch that armament video. Yeah, so the 10% on Intrepid is literally like a separate slot from, whatever skill damage I have, right? Like, do I have any skill damage? Do I get any skill damage anywhere? Probably not. Probably not. Not for my city. But, some commanders have skill damage and stuff like that. Like does Zoog get skill damage? Yeah, so like Zoog gets like a 20% skill damage bonus. I think this slots into like the universal skill damage, whether it's your castle skin or your equipment, or anything like that. But then the skill damage that you get from armaments is a separate slot, and that makes it more impactful. So essentially what that means is that armaments are even more powerful than we thought. If you go back to some of my old live streams back when I was very locked in on this game, I would do some guerrilla math about how big of an advantage a whale with, end game armaments had over a more average player. And it was like a pretty big number. It was like 30% maybe. But it's actually probably more, right? Because of the way armament stats are calculated. The advantage that whales have via armaments is even bigger than we ever thought. Which, I'm just not going to... I don't want to be a broken record about this game. But, the game has obviously become more pay to win in the last year or so. And that simply changes the nature of the game, right? It means that a lot of groups that used to be successful because they were very smart and played very good as a team, it means that those groups are no longer going to be as successful as they used to be, because whales just have this like automated advantage by spending more money and getting end game equipment and end game armaments. And so like the sort of the unthinking, or the less thinking kingdom and the less thinking player can beat the overthinking player and overthinking kingdom just by virtue of their account, right? Whereas a few years ago, you had to have very good strategy, you had to have very good teamwork, or you would actually lose to people who spent less than you. And that just causes a lot of groups to stop playing. Like last week I cast as I'm talking, let's go through some of these results, right? Let's go through some of these Osiris League results here as we wait for the next match. Last week I cast S79 against Fire Nation, FCN. And I think FCN is like the kind of group that had a lot of success back in the day, but as spending has become more important, I think that FCN has just become less enthusiastic about the game, and they're just not as organized or nowhere near as dedicated as they used to be, is my impression. And I think that when groups like that sort of fall away and stop playing, and we've seen many groups fall away and stop playing in recent months and years, you just never get those groups back. And it's very rare that new groups come along and have the sort of longevity and success that some of these old groups had. I mean, 1228 is another group that has just sort of fallen off, right? 1228 was a very, very strong kingdom. They never really had a ton of success in KVK. I feel like they always had some very hard matchups, and I think there was at least one KVK I remember where, the enemies explicitly allied against them. I think it was 1235 and 1606 were part of the other team in that KVK, and they had some conflict with 1228 in the past. 1228 was certainly a very, very trolly kingdom. They even jumped in our Discord one time and trolled and sort of like spammed our Discord after we fought them in ARC. But 1228 was a very, very strong group, and it looks like they've kind of fallen off and just don't really play anymore. You just see a lot of groups that have fallen off. I mean, these two groups still seem to be going. The Exotic War Piranhas and WIB still seem to be going strong. Although certainly WIB has had some departures. And I don't know, I just think the overly pay to win element has caused some groups to just stop playing because they just don't want to keep up with the spending. And if you don't keep up with the spending, then it's very hard to compete. I think that's a lot of what's happened with the Korean community. Algebra says, will you be streaming this KVK, Brian? I'm not sure, Algebra. I'm really not sure. I might stream it a little bit. I'll probably stream it a little bit, yeah. I mean, I think, I'm really not sure how much leading I'm going to do. I don't really know what role I'm going to have. I don't know exactly how much time I'll have to play. So, but I think there's going to be plenty of times where I'm not leading, and I will be able to stream at those times. So, yeah, I'll be streaming some. Anyway, I was starting to whine there, so Algebra kind of rightly got me off of my whining. Let's just kind of go through some of these results here. Not too many results so far. Not too many results. Raxiel, welcome to the stream. You're just in time. We're about to watch another ARC match in 5 minutes. Did Gosu say what? He's an Anubis 25. All right, let's just take a look at Gosu's matchup real quick. We'll see if it's close. Looks kind of close, actually. But not really well-known teams. I think I'm kind of looking for some well-known matchups here. And we've got a couple of them in Horus. So okay, so here's the match that we were thinking about casting. 93L gets the win against 1158. So 1158, which did very well in Osiris League last time. If I remember correctly, we had some good success betting on 1158. And I think they even advanced out of pool play in the last Osiris League. But they just got a very bad draw this time and lost a very close match to 93L. I believe Bulba cast this match, so if you do want to watch the video of this, you can go to Bulbarito's channel later, of course, and watch that. LX96 loses. TG53 is 1653. I'm not too familiar with TG53, but a nice win for them against the 6-star LX96. 1718 gets a very convincing win against 166. 1718, which has 9 stars, are former allies. I believe I would say these were the best allies that we ever had. They sort of led the way for our camp in the most enjoyable KVK that I ever played in, which was our Siege of Orleans victory against 1818. You can see a few videos from our channel, on my YouTube channel from that war. I keep planning to make more videos of that one, but have not found the time so far. But 1718 with a very convincing win against 166, which 166 are actually our enemies in the current KVK. And they're like a very key part of this KVK, right? Because they're in wind camp. 166 is up here in wind camp. So they're gonna get Cormac for free. But then they're going to have to fight in Zone 7 here. And they're going to be fighting against Water Camp and Greenwood if we want to help out. So 166, and it's going to be a 4 versus 2. Our allies in Water Camp are going to fight against two camps in this zone. And we may help and we may not. But the question is can 166 be a very strong KVK opponent? They have, they have they have 550 billion KP. But they only have 2 stars. I think both of their stars are kind of old. I looked at their kingdom and their stars were a little bit old. So, there's always a question of how sharp a kingdom like this is. And they had an okay showing against 1718. Not a bad showing. It's a respectable score here against a very, very, very good arc team in 1718. So 166 is going to be a very key kingdom in our KVK. But let's lock in now. Let's get into this match. Let me see if anybody else is streaming. Yeah, so it looks like Bulba's going to stream IN against 93T. I'm going to lock into a different match. Where is this match? Yeah, I'm going to lock into this one. I think this is going to be a pretty good match. 1648 has had a lot of success in Arc in the past. I almost wanted to say that they have won an Osiris League way back in the day when they were in a different realm. I guess not, because they don't have the icon of an Osiris League winner. But I'm pretty sure 1648 has been a very good Arc kingdom. And they're up against 93P Trash Pandas. So we're going to watch this match here. I think this will be a very good match. A Vietnamese team against a English-speaking team. And we'll watch this match and we'll let Bulba do the IN versus 93T match. No reason to have 2 content creators streaming the same match. Wouldn't make any sense. And yeah, we'll get in here. Algebra says they are good, I believe. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're good, but, kingdoms can fall off like very quickly, right? Like when if key players quit or key players leave, a kingdom can fall off very, very quickly. I mean, I play a lot less than I used to, right? And even though the last KVK was not a serious one, I'm sure you guys noticed some difference in our performance by the fact that I wasn't there at all. And so you just never know with these strong, kingdoms that don't show a ton of activity in Eve. They're really very much based on dedicated players fighting a lot in KVK. And if those players, stop being serious about the game, a kingdom can fall off very, very quickly. So I'm just always aware of that. I'm always aware of that possibility. So you see a discipline difference here right off the bat, where 93P is letting their non-teleporters teleport in right away. Whereas 1648 was just like first come, first serve, everybody teleport right off the bat. And I'll be honest, that's like a very bad sign. That's a very bad sign for this match being close. Because if 93P is way more coordinated than 648, then I think 648 is in for a long match here. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's take a look at this team here. 1093 is the strongest kingdom in the game. I would say they are the most accomplished kingdom in the game, where they've had a bunch of excellent KVK wins and also had a lot of success in Ark of Osiris. And I honestly don't know very much about 1093. I don't know who the key players in this kingdom are. I know Mike Hawk is, by their shot caller in Ark of Osiris. And Mike Hawk does a really good job in Ark of Osiris. But I really don't know much about this kingdom at all. I don't know who their, big whales are. I can't say I've followed too many of their KVKs, because I've just been less active when they're in these big KVKs. But anyway, this is 1093's, I think, number 2 or number 3 Arc team. And these are a lot of the players who make up the juggernaut that is 1093. I feel like Incognito Rex, I feel like I played with a different Incognito back in the day, or played against them. But, yeah, not a lot of players that I recognize here. They've been doing their own thing in ROK, and I've been doing my own thing, and our paths have never crossed. Here is 648. Vietnamese Kingdom with 4 stars. 1093 has 6 stars. 648's got 4 stars. But I can guarantee you that 1093's 6 stars were in much more competitive KVKs than 648, which I am guessing is more of a heroic anthem type of group. All right, so the match has started, but the gates have not opened. Now the gates are open. P2 Fito jumping out early. He's only got 200k tier 1 troops. We saw Sinith earlier with a 360k tier 1 march right off the bat. See what's going on over here. KK also has a very big T1 march. I can see that these teams are more serious than we are, right? Because I'm sort of the front-facing T1 speed march on our team, and I only have about 65k tier 1 troops. But these people have taken the time to train the full 200k plus tier 1 troops. There's Zombie Solo 13. Both teams have captured one obelisk already. Looks like it's pretty fair off the rip here. 648 gets to their second obelisk a bit faster than 1093. And let's see where the rallies are. Only one rally from 648. Very interesting. Whereas you can see that 1093 has 6 rallies. You see a huge difference in approach right off the bat. 6 rallies from 93P. One rally from 648. And it's going to their own obelisk. It will get there in time. No real pressure. No real pressure here. Okay, so there's a ward battle here. We got a ward battle right off the rip. And it looks like Zombie Solo is probably going to win it. If the tier 1 marches can kill this ward in time. Actually, the Joan, I feel like the Joan is a tier 4 march. And it has much more troops, so the Joan might kill it first. We're not able to watch it because we're lagging a little bit. Who will kill this thing first? It looks like it's going to be the Joan. Looks like the Joan's going to get the ward down first. Zombie Solo has given up the ghost. A nice little tactical advantage. A nice little vision advantage for 648 from the start. But they're not really putting a lot of pressure on this Desert Altar, it looks like to me. It's really interesting to me how some teams are better at mobilizing quickly to this Desert Altar than others. We saw 1903 mobilize very quickly in the last match. I wonder what teams are doing to mobilize quickly here. Is it tier 4 marches? I mean, these look like tier 5 marches for the most part. Are they... I don't know what it is, but some teams are just better at mobilizing quickly. Maybe some teams put like more focus on sending only cavalry marches out first. We don't really, on my team we don't have that kind of requirement because most of us only have 5 good marches, so we just send out our 5 good marches rather than send out 5, specific cav marches that are fast. But anyway, here we have the fight at the Desert Altar. You can often see via positioning which team has the advantage. 93P has positioned themselves pretty aggressively and assertively here in front of their building, and that seems to be indicative of them having the advantage. Let's look at the top side. Well, on the top side, 648 has also positioned themselves assertively. But 93P has a numbers advantage here for sure. A very, very clear advantage for 93P at this Desert Altar. So, in fact, it was a mistake by 648 to position themselves so aggressively. When you see that the enemy has the numbers advantage here, you actually want to position yourselves conservatively. You want to gather up, and you want to wait for the engage. You want to wait to engage until more of your marches have arrived. But, this is like fairly close. This is fairly close. And, the teleports are in. They're refreshing their marches. The Yan is getting here. They did grab the altar, but it's going to get swarmed down. But I think this is close enough, right? Well, actually, I don't know. The numbers advantage for 93P is quite significant. And so they're going to be able to kill this Yan. They're going to be able to capture the Desert Altar. And they might be able to get the first capture bonus. This will be interesting. This is kind of a repeat of the last match where we saw 1903 capture this Desert Altar from the opponent, but then they stayed, they fought again, they died pretty convincingly from the refreshed blue troops, and then they were not able to get to mid on time. And so what's going to happen with these marches from people like Ball and 48 Ballin 48, let's just follow this Guan here. Ballin 48 has a yellow health Guan. This march is not going to be effective on the mid. The mid is in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Can Ballin kill himself fast enough? So this is like very sloppy by 648. I'm already worried about how close this match is going to be, because like, what are they doing? Like, what did that march just do? What did that guy do? He literally did nothing. He just started walking towards a building and got killed by Ballin 48 and friends. So we're seeing 93P dominate this map. They have all the buildings on this side. They have 3 of the 4 buildings on this side. And this looks like it's going to be a blowout. Because the execution from 648 is just very sloppy. Very sloppy. They're attacking this building one at a time. Like, look at this. What are they doing? They're like not gathering up at all. But you can see the awkwardness, right? You can see the awkwardness of what happens when you take this desert altar and try to hold it for the first capture, which they're going to get the first capture. But like, there's not even a rally. Have they even launched a rally? Okay, it looks like they've prepared a rally, but it's still like there's still no rally. There's yet to be a rally on this building. They lost the building 2.5 minutes ago, and they still are preparing the rally, and that's just an absolute mess. That's a disaster. That's a stone freaking disaster. Where's the rally? Where is the rally on this building? Yeah, so you can see that 648 is just not very organized. They're not prepared for this matchup. And it looks like it's going to be a complete blowout. So we might look for a different one. Natsu was playing Olympia earlier with 648. 648 was too busy playing Olympia, come up with a strategy. There is still no rally on this friggin' building. They have still not rallied this building. They're swarming it down. They're swarming down against the Hera, which is going to completely screw them for the mid fight. They have no chance at mid. And this is what happens, right? If you handle the lanes incorrectly, you essentially lose the mid fight before it even starts, right? They have all these weak marches here that should be mid right now, but they were busy swarming down the desert altar because their second wave of push was completely disorganized. They went in one at a time, and B, they never even rallied the building. So now they have all these marches that cannot do anything middle. They either did not get there in time, or they don't have enough health. And they might be screwed mid. I don't know. Because the thing is, 93P is a little bit screwed timing-wise for mid as well, because they just died. They held this desert altar for so long that their marches now are just getting out to go mid. So they're late to get to mid as well. And let's see what happens on the mid here. The timing sort of worked out a little bit for 648. But look, even over here, right? They have so many marches that will not even be mid because they were busy taking back their building. Again, with no rally. As far as I can tell, there was again no rally on this building. So they were launching offensive rallies on this desert altar rather than using a rally to take their own sky altar. Now, all these marches will not be at the mid fight. And 93P is getting there late, but they're getting there in numbers, in much bigger numbers than RYF, because RYF is still busy taking their buildings. And look, they have another offensive rally on the enemy building rather than having rallies to take their own building. Interesting to see that 93P is doing a naked rally during the arc. I've seen some other sophisticated opponents do this, where you send a rally at a building with no open field support as sort of like a distraction. As either a distraction or just a opportunistic thing where if the enemy doesn't defend the building, you might be able to take it. But really, it's a distraction to cause marches to swarm this rally down rather than go middle. And 93P got to mid late, but they got to mid in numbers, and they are going to take this first arc. And we are thinking about some other matches. Brian says check int versus E368. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think this is just a blowout. So we will check some other matches here. Let's see. Int versus E68. Okay, 1368 versus 1365. Okay, so this is... We're going to look at a bit of what 1365 has to offer. Obviously, 1365 is, you know, the JST kingdom, the storied kingdom of 1365. INT is a new kingdom name. I think I loaded the match. Hopefully I can get in. It's not really doesn't want to let me in. Unfortunately, it does not want to let me into this thing. All right, I'm gonna try to see if it loads. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to see if it loads, and if not, I'll look for a different match. We'll try to give it a couple minutes here. Let me check crypto prices while we wait. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it. Sorry for the technical difficulties here as we try to load into a different match. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it wants to let me into this match, so let me look for a different one. I mean, there's like a bunch of good matches, so I'm sure I'll find a good one here. There's JST. Let's see. I know there were like a lot of good matches. I mean, we could look at this one, right? Let's just try to get into this one. Man, getting into the match partway through seems really friggin' difficult. I mean, I needed to leave the other match because it was like obviously a blowout, but I don't know if we can get into another match now. I mean, there's no way that many people are watching this one, right? Oh my gosh. You know, maybe I need to maybe I should just reboot my client. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, let's just watch this one. Looks like it's pretty close, right? Or maybe it's close. I mean, it looks close. Yeah, this looks like a close match here. We're watching E68. Oh, we got into this match. Okay, we got into this match. We might get pulled into another match. We'll see. So we're in the match we wanted to see. It just took us several minutes to get in here. But we've got a pretty close mid-fight right off the... This is the first mid-fight of this match. The arc is over here now. Blue team has the arc. They have the numbers look even, but you know you have a huge advantage when you're pulling the arc because basically, I mean, this is like not rocket science, but I'm explaining here. But this Nevsky is doing the right thing. The Nevsky is walking away from the enemies because all these other friendly marches are simply getting attacked as they walk to the target. So this Zoog is not doing any damage at all because he's walking to the target, but the other March is walking in the correct direction and hitting the Zoog at the same time. And that is a massive advantage in Arc. It's just a massive, massive advantage. And people underestimate how much this can swing a fight. Because, 30 seconds ago when I zoomed out, the numbers were the same. The numbers were literally the same 30 seconds ago. But because of the position of the Arc and who had the Arc, and the direction that the Arc was going, this is actually now a blowout in favor of E68. So, yeah. Team integrity from 1365. The power was pretty even in this matchup. And it's pretty close so far. The map is even. And this was clearly a heavily contested mid-fight. Because, it's just now being decided. So we do have a close match here, but, E68 definitely has the advantage. It has the advantage over the team from 1365. And, I'll be honest, I don't know what I actually don't know what the status of 1365 is. I think I'm at risk of saying something very stupid. Because I really have not been paying attention to this game much. And it's not like I thought 1365 died, but I feel like they had major problems, no? I feel like, I don't know if they underperformed in certain KVKs or if they had players leave. I mean, I saw that Save was the king of JST's Arc team. So I feel like Save is still the leader of that kingdom. But I do think 1365 has been diminished to some extent. I know they won their current KVK. But, it'll be interesting to see where 1365 goes from here. Because it's not like they're not like a 20, they're not like a 2504. Dude, I'm like, or not, I'm talking about 1254. Sorry. I'm like really out of this game. So, yeah, it's not like 1365 is in a 1254 situation where like the kingdom literally folded. But I feel like they have been diminished in certain ways. Irangadir says 1365 did have a bunch of players leave, I think. Yeah, I think they had some significant amount of departures. And so they're not quite what they used to be, but they always have the potential to rebuild, or they can have success as a smaller kingdom. What kingdoms can do if they lose a lot of players is they can then also aggressively kick out their, low-performing players and then just become a smaller kingdom of the sort of old guard that remains. And they can have success that way. So it'll be interesting to see if 1365 goes that direction, or if they go in the direction of kingdoms like 1254 or 1860 and all these old imperiums that literally, or 1307, all these old imperiums that just straight up collapse and are just like, not good kingdoms anymore. Because certainly 1365 has at least one team that has advanced to the group stage. JST did advance with a convincing win today. And Integrity is trying to be a second team from 1365 to make it into the group stage. But they have their hands full here with E68. Which I'm not sure which kingdom E368 is from. Oh, maybe they're from 1368, maybe? Yeah, I assume they're from 1368, maybe 2368. So, all right, the map is a little bit in Blue's favor right now. They have one outpost, and they have this desert altar. They don't have a garrison in place. But I have heard that Herman Zug is an okay Arc garrison. It certainly does a lot of AoE damage. So it's not the worst Arc garrison in the world, but it's far from the best. So red team gets their desert altar back. They have neutralized this map, and they have a very good chance of getting this sky altar because we have a Huo. We have a Huo in the garrison, which is what you want to see. When you lost the first mid fight and you're down a few points, you want to see the Huo. You don't want to see the Gorgo. And it would have been nice for them to have a rally here. That's for sure. I don't know if the rally died or what, but I mean, I'm guessing they didn't have a rally because a rally would have killed that Huo. A rally would have definitely killed that Huo. You know, some of these blue marches are not doing anything. They're just letting these red marches just unload on this garrison. We saw this we saw this trio of cav marches, one Huo march and two Nevsky marches. They were just standing over here on the left side, unloading on this sky altar with no resistance other than the garrison itself. It looks like blue will get this thing back, but it is going to be contested here for a while. Let's see if red team has a rally set on it. They don't have a rally set. So this is the issue, right? You gotta launch that rally right away. You know, the Gorgo garrison just got popped. The Gorgo garrison has to walk back. There's the Gorgo. You know, it would have gotten back in time, but you want to, I mean, they should have had a rally. They should have had a rally launched anyway, right? They should have had a rally preparing anyway. But and mid is soon. We got distracted. Some of the players, I'm sure, got distracted just like me, because mid is in less than 90 seconds, and nobody's here. Like this is such a different situation than the previous match we saw. The previous match we saw, I don't know, at this time of an arc. Oh, it looks like the clock is wrong. Looks like the clock is wrong. Okay, the clock is wrong. We got 5 minutes until the next. All right. I'm a little bit hyper. I've been up all night. I've been streaming for a couple hours, and we're just gonna chill it out. We're gonna chill it out a little bit. We got a good match. The chat's been cool. We got 16 people watching. The viewership continues to increase as the stream goes on. I very much appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. Throw a like on the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. If it's your first time watching my ROK content, I've been streaming and making ROK videos for a couple of years now. I'm kind of an off and on content creator. Yeah. I'm a very experienced Arc player. I've been playing this game for a long time. I sort of treat this as more of a channel for experienced players. Not a lot of beginner content here, but certainly there are aspirational aspects to my streams and to my videos where if you're a newer player in this game, I give you a glimpse at what the end game looks like. I give you a glimpse at what an organized team is like, which, you know, is the kind of thing that a newer player is working towards, even if they don't realize it yet. They might still be thinking about, should I build YSG or save my gold heads? You know, should I rush T5 or should I use universal speed ups during KVK2? But ultimately, the goal really in this game, in my opinion, is to be a part of a good team, make some friendships, have some good experiences in ARC, in KVK, and in the home kingdom. and just experience what it's like to play a relatively complicated game like ROK as part of an organized group competing against other organized groups. That's sort of the unique offering that Rise of Kingdoms has compared to other games. You don't get to play a lot of games where you work with a group of 50 to 100 people to play in a competitive player versus player situation. And this is what it is. This is what it is. Um, Tier 5 marches amassed on a battlefield, staring directly at their opponents, getting ready to engage in an open field skirmish. One of the real truisms and one of the key principles of Rise of Kingdoms is that if you can win the majority of your open field fights, then life is much, much easier for you. Everything gets a lot simpler when you can simply beat your opponent in the open field. And if you cannot win in the open field, then you have to get very creative and essentially do a lot of wonky and difficult things to give yourself a chance to win. But the much more straightforward path to success is simply win these situations right here when everyone is dumping a lot of skill damage onto their enemies. They've got their best gear on, they've got their best armaments on, and they have the meta commanders that do great in these situations. And if you can do all that very well, if you can hit harder than your enemy and fight as a group more assertively than the enemy, then you can win these situations, and your life in this game is a nice one. And it looks like E68 has won this mid-fight more convincingly than they won the last one. A very convincing win here for E68. A demoralizing moment for 1365, where many of these players, I'm sure, have lived many, many years of their ROK lives winning these open field fights. 1365 is one of the most dominant kingdoms in the history of the game. There was certainly a time not that long ago, maybe less than 18 months ago, I think, where 1365 had maneuvered through a few KVKs and gotten the win. I believe there were two really big KVKs where 1365 won them. They sort of had advantages in a couple of them. I remember there was a free-for-all KVK where 1365 won it because 556 they sort of like attacked 1254 mercilessly and left 1365 alone. But 1365 won that KVK nonetheless. And they had one other big win. I don't want to try to remember what the other one was, but I know they had one other very big win where they just played it smart and outmaneuvered their opponents. So 1365, very well-known kingdom. Here's Peace Frog, a old school player, a name that has certainly rang out in the past. But they are getting run over here by E68, which is a new team to me. Looks like a Chinese team. And that's part of what you're seeing in this game at this point. You're seeing a lot of One Alliance Chinese kingdoms that we don't really know. We don't really know these teams, but they are quite strong, and they're just they're some of the tougher groups to beat. There's some of the tougher groups to deal with in ROK at this point. Are some of these One Alliance? This might be a Japanese kingdom actually. I don't know. That looks like a Japanese name to me. But, this is, one of the overriding metas in Rise of Kingdoms is that you have to actually go out on the battlefield and win. There's no other way to do it. You have to go out there and actually beat the opponent. And so if you can fight well, if you have a strong fighting force, then even if you're underestimated, even if you're unknown, you still have the ability to have a lot of success because this game is decided on the field. It's not decided in reputation. There aren't any judges deciding who wins this. This game is decided on the field. And if you can beat your opponent in a straight up fight, then nothing else really matters. And that is what E68 is doing here. It will be interesting to see if they hold this arc. They have a bit of an advantage on the sides. They've had a consistent, slight advantage on the side. Although this Sky Altar has gone down a number of times. Do they have a rally on this thing? Oh, they do have a rally. Okay. The Asher Zug rally here. It looks like this was a pretty convincing win at the Sky Altar. We'll have to see if they have a garrison. They would need an archer garrison here. So we'd be looking for the Dido. Boy, Dido is a commander that was like such a big deal a year ago. And you just never hear anyone talking about Dido here. Like, is Dido even a factor in this game anymore? You just don't hear a lot about Dido. And I'm not exactly sure why, because, there's no good cav rally, right? Like Dido, theoretically, Dido should still be a very good garrison. Because, calves are the counter to Dido. And cav rallies are just not very good. They're so swarmable. Every cav rally in this game is swarmable. And so Dido should still have a role. But you just don't hear a lot about Dido anymore. You don't see a lot of Dido garrisons in Arc. And Dido is not that feared in KVKs. I think Dido is relatively swarmable. Dido Hera is a relatively swarmable garrison. Although I do think that Dido has some anti-swarm, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's my Dido update for y'all. You can see that I'm an archer player, where I have so much information about this stuff. I can tell you a lot more about Jan. If you want a meta update on Jan, I can certainly give you that. Jan has had a good career. There have been times, Jan is very good against just rallies. I don't know how it does against Asher, because I haven't played against Asher really. But Jan has, held up pretty well against most rallies for a while. It's not the best against Swarm nowadays, but that's only because Gorgo came out. Before Gorgo, there really wasn't any garrison that was all that good against Swarms. And so Jan Hera was just as good as anything else. Like, Jan Hera was, arguably the best garrison in the game because it did good against rallies and did okay against Swarms. Something like, Xeno Hera, or I don't even remember if Flav Hera was a thing, but they did worse against rallies. So Jan had a good run, but I think nowadays swarming is such a big deal that Jan Hera is, it's on its last legs, and Hera is looking for a new cavalry garrison to partner with. Algebra says Jan Nevsky might just destroy any Asher rally. So interesting thought from Algebra there. But Jan Nevsky would get wrecked by swarms, though. Yeah, it's just so swarmable. At this stage in Rise of Kingdoms, it really doesn't matter how you do against just a rally. You know, there's just always going to be the swarm there. You know, at least at the high end, at least against a competitive kingdom, if they're rallying you, then they also have the open field. And if they have the open field, there's probably at least one whale who's going to swarm along with the rally. I mean, I know there's like a little bit of wiggle room there, and like it sort of matters how you do against a rally, but yeah, there's just like so few situations where Jan Nevsky is doable. It would be like in a pass, right? If Asher Henry or Asher Zug is trying to rally a pass, then maybe you throw the Jan Nevsky in. But you know, in a pass, you could also use Gorgo Constantine. So Algebra says, I think people are just scared to test things out. It's like when people hated Flav Skippy, but we used it pretty well. I mean, I don't know that we test things more than others. I feel like we don't really test more than most folks, but I think it is certainly true that it sometimes takes surprisingly long for people to realize what the meta is. I think back to how 1034 did the like Charles era garrisons or whatever, and those were actually pretty good, and no one had even tried those for 6+ months before they started using them. So this match is still sort of close, I guess. They are holding the arc. That seems fine, I guess, because they're going to have such a lead that even if 365 wins the last mid-fight, Blue will still have a very good chance of winning. So I think this is one of those situations where it does make sense to hold the arc. And I wish I was smart enough to file this away and like understand this concept. But it's like if you win the first arc and you have a 3,000 to 4,000 point lead without returning that second arc, then it makes sense to hold it, because then you eliminate the possibility of a 4-arc game where you might lose the third and fourth arc and then you lose the match. So I'm going to try to file this away as a situation where it makes sense to hold. It remains to be seen if I will actually remember this in the heat of battle, but yeah, I would say this is a standard scenario where it makes sense to hold. You have like a 3,000 or 4,000 point lead, and the worst thing that can happen is that there's a 4-arc game, which is sort of what happened in the match we watched earlier, right? As long as it was a 3-arc game, RYF was always gonna win, but because they made it a 4-arc game, they ended up losing. Yeah, I can tell I'm a little bit rusty with the streaming because I've been going for 2.5 hours, or I guess I've been going for 3 hours now, and I'm getting worn out. My voice is dry. I'm actually going to grab some water real quick for this final stretch run because my voice is absolutely fried. Oh man. Yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm glad the viewer count got as high as it did, actually. Yeah, really happy about that. It took a while for the viewer count to go up, but we're doing pretty good. We got 2 new members to Officer Chat. Natsu looking very good with his green name. As a reminder, you do get one custom. I have one custom emote. I still need to make more, but you do get this one custom emote with membership. you do get my PFP emoji as a member of Officer Chat. I must admit there are no other perks. It's just, it's just a nice way to support me. Somebody like Algebra has just kept his he's kept his membership going all these months, even though I haven't been doing any content. And I do notice that on my dashboard. It tells me how much money I make each month. And even in the months where I was making no content whatsoever, I was making about $15. So Algebra and 2 other people have kept their memberships going. And it's always nice. It's nice to make a little money doing this stuff. I had thought about starting a Discord for a while and having like a private Discord for members and stuff like that. But, I got busy. I got very busy, and I'm not able to devote as much to this channel and to this game as I used to devote. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go all in as a YouTube content creator. I don't want to promise things that I can't actually deliver on. So I've ultimately kept the channel pretty casual, pretty unambitious. But I do enjoy this stuff. I really do enjoy streaming. I enjoy hanging out with y'all, having good conversations. The reality is that this channel has helped me play this game better. If you were here earlier as I was opening armaments, you had Algebra Natsu point out that I could set it up where my pity timer aligns where I get like a special inscription in a certain slot, a certain desirable slot. And so I'm going to do that, and that will just help. Like, that's a good play that I'm going to make. And I would have never thought to do that if not for this channel. And on a stream that none of you will ever see, on a drunk stream I did a few months ago, where I have unlisted that stream, I had started maxing Huo. I put like 120 gold heads into Huo, and I think Algebra was saying you should maybe save your gold heads because there's new Cav commanders soon. And I'm really glad that I didn't max Huo. Like, I'm really glad I didn't max Huo. Because Herman and Lucci and the new Cav commanders are all higher priority than Huo. And so, yeah, I did waste like 120 gold heads. Maybe more like 150 gold heads on Huo. But at least I didn't go all the way and finish it. And again, it was the channel that stopped me from doing that. It was talking to people in this chat that stopped me from making that mistake. And so, this is the way I theory craft in this game. This is the way I plan things out in this game, is just thinking out loud with you all on this stream. And hopefully I can help other people as well. Hopefully you can pick up some, good ways of thinking about this game via my rambling. I think I have a pretty good attitude about games like this. I'm a very experienced gamer. And I'm a pretty objective thinker, right? I'm sort of this emotional, sensitive person, but objectivity and analytics rule the day for me. And, being objective and analytical in a game like Rise of Kingdoms is very, very important. You have to know when you have the advantage. You have to know when you're in a winning position and you should push things. But you also have to know when you're beat. And you have to know the difference between losing because you made mistakes and losing because the other team just had advantages that you could not overcome. And if you lose because you made mistakes, if you lose in a situation where if you had simply done things differently, you might have won, then there are some reasons to get upset. There are some reasons to criticize, and there are some reasons to, actually go through the painful process of getting better. But if you played extremely well and you lost because of advantages that are outside of your control, whether that's the enemy simply having more power and more players, or because the enemy spent more money on crystal tech. Sometimes you simply can't control it, and you just, no matter how good you play, you're going to lose. And, you know, the ability to be a truly objective person and recognize those situations for what they are, it can save you a lot of frustration, right? Because you don't get frustrated about stuff that there's no reason to be frustrated on. And, you know, for me, that's just like a default position from being a gamer for 20 plus years. I was a professional poker player for a decade. And, you know, when you play poker for a living, you have to be very process oriented. You can't be results oriented. But a lot of the world is extremely results oriented. You know, I think the default mainstream position with a lot of stuff is to be results oriented. You know, if you think about success in life, it's like, oh, well, this person makes a lot of money, therefore they're successful and ought to be admired. This other person doesn't make very much money, so therefore they're a loser. Well, okay, you don't know what sort of advantages one person had compared to the other. You don't know how lucky one person got compared to the other. You don't even know. You don't necessarily even know how important money is. But people just look at the results and they judge things based on the results. But I mean, I just think there's more interesting things to life than the results. I think the process you go through, your ability to bring your A game to any given situation, your ability to make the best possible decision in any situation is like pretty freaking interesting. You know, that's more interesting than looking at the results, really. So I think I just have sort of a default process-oriented perspective on a game like this, and hopefully I can pass on some of that to you all who are watching. I think over the years, my mentality has certainly helped someone like Adinavo, for example, who is better at this game than I am. And, you know, a better leader than I am, and he's probably just like a smarter person than I am. But I think that for a young dude like him, right? It's like I just had this like super objective point of view about this game right from the very beginning, and I think maybe some of that has rubbed off on him, where that became his default point of view on things through a game like this, and you know he's just become an absolute beast over the years. He's just become an absolute beast at this game. So here's the third mid fight here. And E68 has massive control of this game. They're going to win. But you got to play for pride. And you just don't want it always stinks to like get wasted mid. And it looks like 365 is getting wasted mid here. Alloys said this earlier. I read this from Alloys earlier. I didn't respond to it. He said OL now gets more fun, a lot easier to get top 32 than it used to be. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I would love to make top 32 at some point in my life. We've never really been that close, but yeah, I mean, you know, look, Alloys, I think like certain things about this game have gotten cooler. Like as it gets smaller, you know, things like Osiris League becomes a little bit more doable, right? It's like a little bit like new groups are able to advance in Osiris League because a lot of the old guard has quit, and I think that's like pretty positive and stuff. The only problem I have with that is that I think what's happened is that, you know, I mean, basically, I think the whales are still playing and still spending. So I don't think the competition level of the game has dropped. I thought that maybe the competition level of this game would drop, but I don't think that's really been the case. I think it's just you're just competing with different people now. You're competing with like the spenders rather than the planners. And so, I don't know, like, maybe Osiris League is a little bit easier, but it's not like a ton easier. So it looks like Godstraight. Oh, Godstraight's a member too. Awesome. Godstraight, I don't entirely remember your Godstraight. I appreciate you being a member for sure. I don't know if you changed your name or what, but I very much appreciate you being a member of the channel. But it looks like Godstraight is maybe from 2268, so another player from our KVK. Looks like Gosu might have lost his match. Aloy says, I made top 32 a few times. Never had a really good run, though. Yeah, I've never made top 32. That's one of my goals in this game. I don't know that I'll ever do it, but... You know, one thing that I really like about Ark is that there's not like a huge difference in importance between Osiris League and like regular Ark matches. I mean, I know Osiris League is more important, and certainly if I was on a team that advanced further in the tournament, I would find Osiris League very important. But, you know, we lost our match last week, and I just was sort of like, you know what? As long as we play good in our regular matches, and as long as we win our regular matches, I could almost care less about not making it farther in Osiris League. I mean, you know, the thing with Ark is like, when we win in Ark, everybody's happy. When we lose an Ark, everybody's pretty meh, you know? So, to me, every Ark match is pretty important because when we win, the vibes are really good for that 30 minutes after the match. And when we lose, the vibes are not that good. So, you know, you can take every Ark match serious. And the rewards, you get double the rewards if you win. So, you know, Ark in general is just like one of those things where it's actually a lot better to be good at it than not be good at it. And so even if you lose in Osiris League, if you learn some things and if your normal Ark matches get better, it still becomes a nice thing to have been a part of. But, I mean, to me, Ark is the best part of this game. Like, for me, this is my favorite part of the game. I really enjoy Ark of Osiris. I think it's a very good game mode. It's great to get together with my friends every couple weeks. It's one of the main ways that I check in with people and see how everybody's doing. So, you know, it's been a good game for a long time, or a good game mode for a long time. All the changes they made have been good. The fog of war is good. The sentries are good. The meta is good right now. Like, you're seeing a decent amount of offense. You know, you're seeing some buildings change hands. It's not super easy to take a building, but it is easier to take a building in Ark than it is to burn a fort in KVK. So it's a good meta. It's a pretty fair meta. You know, our Cav rallies are cool because they're fast, but Cav rallies get murked. Cav rallies get swarmed down very, very fast. You know, Ark is just like a very, very good game mode. Always has been, still is. And I'm very happy to be streaming Osiris League for the first time. This is my first chance as a content creator to stream Osiris League. And I'll probably keep doing it, you know? I'll probably just keep doing it through the season. I'll make the I'll improve my internet connection. I'll probably buy a new mic and keep it going. you know, as time permits. As time permits. Because for all the good things about Rise of Kingdoms, it does have the potential to ruin your life. And no one wants to ruin their life for a video game. I mean, we do it, but we don't want to. We ruin our lives under protest. God Straight says hi, subbed a while ago, bro. Haven't caught a stream. Well, I appreciate that. I very much appreciate the support. Very much appreciate the support, and glad you could jump on a stream. Ellie says this season will be interesting. We just made top 32, but there are a few really good teams we won't be able to compete with. We haven't played together enough. I assume Allies is part of maybe the main 2268 team. I mean, I know 2268's team was good last year. They did better than I think 2268 did a bit better than I expected last season. I may have even bet against them a few times, and when they won. So, yeah, I mean, listen, 2268 has been a very interesting kingdom for a long time. We still don't know exactly who you all are, but I guess we get to find out firsthand in this KVK, so. Don't need to say too much more about it at this point. God Street's been a member for 6 months. Love it. Yeah, I'm sorry if I've seen your name before and I don't remember it. But yeah, awesome. Yep. It's nice to have as much support as I have. Sorry I'm not that consistent, but I mean, Osiris League is like a really good thing to stream because I actually know what I'm talking about in Arc. If I were talking about KVK and different kingdoms and stuff, I mean, you guys heard me earlier. I was trying to I couldn't remember 1254's kingdom number, you know. I was like, I started to call them 2504, you know. So Arc is one of those things where even if you don't play the game seriously, you can still play Arc seriously. Whereas if you're gonna play KVK seriously, you have to take the entire game seriously. You have to gather a bunch of resources. You have to get a bunch of speed ups. You have to do all the events to keep up with your commanders and stuff. So Arc is like a little bit easier. It's a little bit more self-contained. Final 30 seconds of this match. A nice win for E68. Pretty solid performance all around. I mean, they won all the mids, but they also played the sides pretty well, I would say. It looks like their rallies were a little bit weak, right? Like, you know, the Cav rally just doesn't get it done. You either needed to Tariq Bakal rally, or you need a Archer rally. The Cav rally just does not cut it. And I wasn't checking too many of their garrisons. I know they had a Gorgor over here. Didn't really notice their other garrisons too much. They got a Gorgo here. So, you know, they weren't like the most amazing team ever, but this is a very solid win, and they will probably perform decently well in the group play. God Straight, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'll either see you in a future stream, or I will see you on the battlefield in a month. All right, so the timer has ended. They're still fighting because we're quite lagged in this match. We are quite lagged. I'm sticking around for the final stats. Always nice to see how many heals have been used in a match like this. We'll check some of the other results. We'll see how that IN versus 93T match went. I assume 93T won, but it'll be interesting to see how close it was. So E68 gets the win. Very high individual score here for Elf. Fairly close on the total kills. Much higher gathering scores here. About 3 times more gathering than we saw in the match earlier. Very interesting. I think gathering is a big deal, and I believe gathering is going to be buffed in the next patch. The patch is going to apply to the pool play games next week, or there might be a week of break. I'm not sure, but looks like 365 healed quite a bit more, but it was all for naught as 1368 got the win and advanced to the next round. So there you go. There you go. And while we were watching that match, 1770 moved into first place in Eve of the Crusade, ahead of 2268. Not for nothing, but we are ahead of 2268 in Eve. We always do very good in Eve, even though the rewards are worth like way less than they used to be. You know, we did have a rest KVK last time, so we did have a lot of speed ups saved up, and looks like we used a lot of them today because we are in first place in Eve. And well, I guess we have a very annoying. I guess we're gonna have a very annoying next 48 hours of non-stop fort rallies. We're gonna have to out rally. Oh jeez. And we're gonna have to out rally an Imperium Kingdom. What have we set up? What hell have we set ourselves up for with this kind of a scoring? Hopefully we're still training. We still have 40 minutes to train. Hopefully we open up a big ass lead, because if the scores remain like this, trying to maintain first place on stage 3 is going to be brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. We'll see. No, we are not allies with 2268. It's top versus bottom. That's not a great map. Here we go. It's going to be top versus bottom. We are here in Greenwood. We have very strong allies in water, and we have a couple of younger kingdoms here in Daybreak. 2268 is fire, and then they have some questionable allies in Earth. Earth is one of the weaker camps in the KVK, and then one strong ally in Wind Camp in Kingdom 166. So it is looking like a very close KVK. I would suspect that both sides think they're going to win, and that usually makes for a very good matchup. And yeah, you know, I'm already in position to do a bunch of Marauder forts over the next 48 hours. I will port my farm nearby later, and I'll join the secondary alliance because we are full. Our main alliance is pretty full these days. It's very hard to get a seat. There's not space for any farms in this main alliance. And I don't even know how this person got in. Who's Neoflix? Let me ask in Discord real quick. Who is Neoflix? Because I was not accepting this person. I was absolutely not accepting this person. Oh, apparently, wait, no, 2268 used their buff. Yeah, Addie's saying that 2268 has their buff left. But I could have sworn it was on a 24-hour cooldown, unless I'm crazy. Yeah, who's this guy? I was not accepting this person, but somebody else has been. You know, this is when you start thinking about spies. But I guess spies are kind of not that big of a deal in a KVK like this, where you have content creators in every friggin' kingdom. Because, you know, you get more information from content creators than you get from spies. Oh, it's Gosu? Okay. Shout out to Gosu. Okay. Here we go. A different Gosu. Not the Gosu who's in the chat, but a different Gosu. So, yeah, let's go through the scores real quick of some other matches, and then we're going to wrap this stream up. Appreciate everybody hanging out. It has been a very fun stream. Let's see here. Yeah, if you missed the match earlier, this was a great match. When the stream uploads, you know what? I might you know what? I am going to. Oh man, I hope this stream uploads fine, because I ran out of space on my computer again. You know what? Instead of going through I'm just going to try to end this stream, because I just want to have the best possible chance of this stream uploading correctly, because last week it did not. Thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to end this thing. I hope this uploads. If not, it is what it is. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you all on the flip side.